Sentinel Online. Now loading the Geekcast radio network of podcasts.
Hello and welcome to the 59th episode of the M-Wire Movie Week in Review. I am TFG and Mike, and joining me is Kevin Optimus Solo Thompson from BehindTheVoiceActors.com. Hello, sir.
How is it going?
It's going. How are you?
I'm lethal.
No. Today we will be covering the Lethal Weapon franchise, all 4 films in one single episode.
Holy cow!
Now, on M-Wire, I've kind of gotten away from doing this, but I don't want to have to spread these films out over 4 episodes, and we have other things in the schedule to get to, so we figured one big giant explosion of jamboree of guns and fire and flamethrowers and fires in the hole and what else? Toilet explosions.
Pool diving.
Yeah, pool diving. That was into
Coke snorting, all that stuff.
Yeah, oh god, yeah.
Electric shock therapy.
Oh, yep. So what have you been up to, sir?
Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know. It's my head's a whirlwind. Everything's been going on. Let's see. I've been doing some stuff outside at my house, staining some landscaping timbers and stuff like that. I've had my grandpa, who's about 93, was down this week and was playing cards with him 3 different days and doing stuff at BehindTheVoiceActors.com. Doing stuff with friends. It just seems like there's a lot going on that's crazy.
I know you're a teacher and all, but just hire a damn Mexican to do your housework, to do your gardening. You'll be done with it.
Yeah, true. Oh, and big news, I guess. Well, big news for us at BehindTheVoiceActors.com. The commercial section is finally up there.
Oh, awesome.
So you can actually view who is the voice of certain commercial characters that you like. I mean, we have about 37 different commercial brands or products up there so far, so about 45 different commercial characters, so that's kind of cool.
I'm going to be severely disappointed if you guys don't have the Christmas Coca-Cola polar bears.
Not yet.
What the hell is wrong with you fuckers?
I basically went through all the cereal brands and all the food brands to start things with. So we'll be getting more. Trust me. We just wanted a good variety to start. So we have all.
You can't have a commercial section without the Coca-Cola.
Oh, we'll have them. Like right now, it's all the Count Chocula and the Trix Rabbit and all the McDonald's characters and the Toucan Sam and all those guys.
Yes. Let's see, what have I been up to? Not much. It's funny, I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it on this show or if I said it on other shows. Sometimes, I love buying DVDs. I love, because I love having a DVD collection and just being able to go back and watch something. Because, let's face it, TV today kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But, sometimes I will buy movies just to have them. Just to have them in the collection. Like I'll buy 3 or 4, I don't have this yet, but say the Matrix trilogy set that they have out that's $70. I don't know, it's this big 4 or 5 disc box set of all the Matrix films and the Animatrix. And I'll buy crap like that. Like the Lethal Weapon Complete Series 4-pack, and I'll just buy it because it's films that I remember watching as a kid, and I'll just buy it to have it, and I won't ever watch them. So that's the good thing about this show is I'm forcing myself to watch all my movies again.
Yeah, this is probably the first series ever that I own the entire collection of, but I didn't buy it in box set because it wasn't available at the time. And I basically got them for Christmas. I don't know if it was spread out over a couple of years or all at once, but I have all 4 individual ones, but I don't have it as a box set. But it was probably the first collection I ever owned. Yeah,
the box set, I mean, it's pretty much the individual DVDs that were already released.
Yeah.
Just put into
silver.
Just put into a box set. I mean,
are they in the silverish?
No, it's
color?
black.
Oh, okay. Even the individual DVD cases.
Lethal is black. Lethal is silver. Lethal 2 is black, Lethal 3 is white, and Lethal 4 is red.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all mine are silver, basically. One's a little bit more silverish reddish, but all mine are in the silver. And it's not even, the only thing I disliked about them is they're not in the good cases. They're in the DVD cases that have like the little like tab that you kind of pop out instead of the actual.
Yeah, that's the way all mine are as well.
That's the only thing I don't like about them, because it makes them a little bit more flimsy, and I've put them through so much use. I mean, in college, we basically watched one Lethal Weapon film a week, probably for 4 years.
Yeah.
It seemed like. I mean, we watched it so many times. Me and one of my roommates just loved them.
Yes. What else is going on with me? Just doing the podcasting thing and, trying to figure out new ways to record and all that crap, which it's not really working. I had a big PC friggin' meltdown.
Those are always fun.
No, not really. All right, long story short, because I'm sure Steve and I will record a headshot about this, but long story short, as of this recording, 2.5 nights ago, we, for some strange reason, lost power in my building. I don't know if somebody blew a fuse. I don't know what it was. Entire building blacked out for about 10 minutes. And I was just sitting here, I think I was watching a movie or I was looking at website, or I wasn't like doing anything major, but I was sitting here with the computer on and everything else. All of a sudden, boom, flash. It's gone. Power comes back on, get it up and get it running. Lower right-hand corner says Windows 7 build 7600. This copy of Windows is not genuine. And I'm thinking, yes, it is fucking genuine because I bought it from Best Buy and it came pre-installed on this tower. I seriously doubt HP or Microsoft allows anybody to put unlicensed or non-genuine copies of stuff on PCs.
Right.
So I called Microsoft first because I figured, okay, it's a Windows issue. It's a Windows problem. It's saying that it's not genuine. Spent 45 minutes on the phone with them to only find out they won't do anything for me or help me unless I buy some sort of protection plan for $59 a month or a year or whatever the fuck. It was $59 for something. I said, no, sorry. If you all aren't going to help me for free for a computer that I've only had a month and a half, then there's something wrong with that, and I hung up on the bastards. Fuck you, Microsoft. I call HP. I go through the whole thing, same thing, giving them the serial number, giving them the Windows ID number thing, and whatever else. And they say, well, make sure your files are backed up. We have to walk you through system recovery. I'm like, okay, fine. Well, I'll have to call you guys back. So about an hour and a half after that, the next time I called, I gave them the reference number, and they walked me through taking the system back to factory settings, which means I lose all my programs, I lose everything I've downloaded as far as like TweetDeck and Skype and iTunes and all that other bullshit.
What a pain.
So in the past 2 days, I've been... thank God I have this 1 terabyte external hard drive. I would be lost without that, but thank God I have that as a backup.
Wow.
So I've been in the process of transferring all my files back, which documents and pictures, it's taken no time at all. Those are already done. iTunes, it's got an hour left, and I started it like 48 hours ago.
Holy cow. That sucks.
Yeah, so... What the hell is that?
Fun times.
That's weird.
Uh-oh.
No, for some strange reason, I don't know what that was. I don't know.
We're experiencing technical difficulties?
No, we're not experiencing technical difficulties in record. I just, do you use Windows 7 or have you ever used it?
Not yet.
On Windows 7, they have icons on the taskbar instead of tabs now.
Right, like Mac.
Yeah. And if you scroll over a tab, it'll pull up little mini windows.
Right.
And then you scroll that over, and it takes everything off the desktop and shows you just that. Well, when I scrolled over my solution bar here of copying the iTunes files, it did something weird to the screen, but we're okay. Anyways, so what else you been doing? Nothing really, other than gay stuff and housework.
Yep, that's it. That's my life right now. Housework and BTBA.
Telling you, just go find a couple of drunk Mexicans. They work for cheap.
I don't mind doing it. I get some exercise out of it. It just takes a long time, and it's been so frickin' hot.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying. If you go find a bunch of drunk Mexicans, give them some beer, tell them to do the work, and they'll work out in the heat, and you can stay inside.
There we go. We're an equal opportunity. No, I'm just kidding.
Drunk Mexicans, drunk Cubans, it doesn't matter.
We piss off everybody. Don't worry, folks.
You know.
We like to offend all groups.
Yes,
equal opportunity offenders.
You know, drunk purple aliens. I mean,
that's
Christ.
right. And Smurfs and stuff.
Okay. All right. So with that, we are going to get started with this episode, and we will be back after the first trailer for Lethal Weapon.
He's a criminal's worst nightmare. A cop who enjoys the danger.
No guns, no jiu-jitsu, just bring him down.
Do you really want to jump?
Well, then that's fine with me. Come on.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait a minute. What the...
He was ready to retire. Now, he's gonna wish he had.
Gun! Oh! Oh! Oh!
Raj, meet your new partner.
New partner? Too old for this.
If these guys can just stand each other.
What you got in there? Boy and Smith? A lot of old-timers carry those.
The bad guys don't stand a chance.
Don't kill anybody. Don't tell anybody.
I'm too old for this. Are you as good as you say you are? Nobody can touch me.
Suppose we better register you as a lethal weapon.
You ever met anybody you didn't kill?
Well, I haven't killed you yet.
First up today is Lethal Weapon, which is a 1987 action comedy film, the first in the Lethal Weapon series of films, all directed by Richard Donner and starring Mel Gibson and Danny Glover as a mismatched pair of LAPD detectives who are hell-bent on protecting and serving despite their differences. And Gary Busey as their primary adversary. The series, after the first film, falls into an action, comedy, and thriller genres and is generally considered to typify the buddy cop plot device. The first Lethal Weapon, along with Die Hard, is credited with setting new standards for urban action films. When did you first see this?
That's a darn good question. I must have seen this on TV at some point first, is what I'm guessing. It's a little different than Die Hard for me. I remember being really little, and I have a brother who's about 10 years older than me. And I remember being really little at one point, and my brother and a bunch of his friends being in our basement watching Die Hard, and I wasn't supposed to be down there, but I snuck down behind the couch and watched it from behind the couch, which was awesome. But I don't remember them watching Lethal Weapon, but I had to have seen it around at a later date since I wasn't allowed to watch that stuff when I was really little. So I must have seen it either on Made-for-TV, but I had seen it at some point before I owned it on DVD because I remember one of the first DVDs I ever asked for Christmas were the 4 Lethal Weapon, or the 3 Lethal Weapon films. I think it was before. I don't remember if it was before the 4th one came out or not.
Yeah, when I first saw this, I had to have been anywhere from 10 to 13.
Right. I mean, it came out when I was about 6, but I know I didn't see it for that first, 4, 5, 6 years that I was alive.
Yeah, and I knew, this came out in 87, so I was 7 then. I knew I didn't see this when it first came out. Obviously, these films are rated R, so.
Right.
But I remember, I remember seeing it. I would say between 10 and 12.
Yeah.
With my mom or somebody. I might have been on TV. We might have had the VHSs. My uncle could have recorded it off of HBO. I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was junior high age when I saw it first, but I immediately fell in love with the whole series, basically. At that point.
Yeah.
The nice part about that was that some of the other ones were already out by that point, so you didn't have to wait for them to be released like people did when they were watching them for the first time when they actually came out.
Yes. Getting into the plot for the first film here. It is set in December in Los Angeles. LAPD detective Roger Murtaugh, played by Danny Glover, is worried about getting old. Having recently celebrated his 50th birthday, he receives a message from Michael Hunsaker, played by Tom Atkins, an old war buddy from his time served during the Vietnam War, whom Murtaugh realizes he has not seen in 12 years. Before he can meet him, he is called to investigate a suicide and is horrified to find the victim is Amanda Hunsaker, daughter of Michael. Elsewhere, younger LAPD detective Martin Riggs, played by Mel Gibson, who is suicidal following the recent death of his wife in a traffic accident, nearly kills a disarmed suspect after entering a psychotic rage during a drug bust. Weary of his behavior, Riggs' superiors transfer him to Murtaugh's unit, making them very reluctant partners.
This is great because it was just basically great from the get-go. Danny Glover was absolutely perfect as the coming of age, not coming of age, but getting closer to retirement age cop that's kind of going through not really a midlife crisis, but kind of a midlife crisis to a point, even though he's past midlife basically. He's just great for that part. Mel Gibson's great for the crazy part. And right from the beginning, you can see these completely different characters that are 180 degrees difference from each other. And, you also have the setup with this old friend that he knows, the daughter who's naked out on the balcony or wherever she was found, I think.
She jumped to her death, supposedly.
Yeah. So basically, it was a great first scene. You have someone, I think they set it up well. You had a lot of action. You had a little bit of craziness. You had everything right from the beginning that sucked you in.
I like when Mel goes crazy a little bit later on in 2 and 3. I thought that was a little bit more funny because he's a little bit more stable. In this one, he is just like this really, like I said, he's a suicidal character.
The reason I like it, though, in this one is because you don't really know, if it's the first time watching, how crazy is this guy.
Yeah.
I like that part of it. Yeah, I think all his crazy moments throughout all 4 are awesome, and some of them get progressively better. But I think the unique part about this one in particular is you're thinking to yourself as you're watching it, is this guy really insane, or what's going on here?
And they call that into question. Is he psycho, or is he just trying to draw the psycho pension?
Right. Right. And that's a perfect thing to do in the movie because it directly goes with what's going on in the viewer's mind, because that's what they're thinking anyway.
And you kind of get, you don't know the whole story, but you kind of get with that the scene in the in his trailer when he's about to eat the bullet, because he's holding the picture of him, and it's either him and his wife, his dead wife, or it's just a picture of her. So I mean, you get that that's why he's suicidal. You just don't know
what happened,
the extent of it, and we'll get to that actually later when we get to Lethal Weapon 2, because that comes back. Right. I was surprised. That was one thing because I haven't watched these films in a good 10 years. It's not that I love these films. It's just I just haven't had a itch to get the DVDs out and watch them.
Right.
I don't know. I've just been too busy with
It's been a few years for me, but I there was a good time from about 2000 to 2005 where I probably watched all 4 of them 20 times. So.
Yep. Yeah.
But since then, I haven't watched them a lot. Since I watched them so much, I kind of got not necessarily burned out, but I just went on to watching other things for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great intro to the movie there, especially for what will be a series of movies. It's that key first scene or first set of scenes in the very first movie is very crucial to the whole success of what you're hoping to be a franchise. Whether they had ideas of how long, many movies they would make or not, the first little bit of, the very first Lethal Weapon, the first little bit of the very first Die Hard, or the first little bit of the, Matrix or Jurassic Park or any of these movies is very crucial to the success of, the entire range of movies. And this one sucks you in, so it does a good job of that.
Yeah, there isn't a single part in this movie where I wanted to fast forward or skip or whatever.
Right.
What?
I was just going to say, basically, moving on with the plot part, it's during her autopsy that they get the connection with her and drugs, so it's not a suicide. they basically find out that this girl, his old friend's daughter, is a drug user into the pornography business. So they start to get suspicious. This isn't just a case of someone jumping off the balcony. This is something that goes deeper.
I love the pool scene.
The pool scene is excellent. That's one of my favorites.
I love the pool scene because they go to this. They find out the pimp, and they go there, and the pimp has a shotgun, and then they cuff him. He has another gun, and Riggs shoots him. Ends up in the pool, and the pool had a cover on. Which they're in L.A. It's summer. Even though it's December, I mean, L.A. never gets snow. It's hot there year round, as far as I know. So I don't know why the hell the damn pool had a cover on it, but. Pool
has to keep crap out of it.
Or dead bodies. But the pool has a cover on it, and they get into the scuffle and blah, 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 blah. Get out of the thing, and the two of them, Riggs and Murtaugh, get to the edge of the pool, and he goes, "Have you ever met anyone that you didn't kill yet?" And Riggs,
yeah.
"I haven't killed you yet."
Yeah, that's just a great line, and basically that sets up, something that will follow Riggs throughout all 4 films. This whole thing that he just, whether on accident, on purpose, or whatever, it just seems like every guy he comes into contact with that's an adversary he kills.
Yep. Let's see here. So yeah, there's the pool scene. They found the drugs. Pimp's dead. Murtaugh assumes the case is closed, but Riggs finds it suspicious that only witness to Amanda's suicide was a prostitute named Dixie who was working away from her usual location. The next morning, Riggs and Murtaugh go to Dixie's home to question her, but her house explodes as they arrive. Investigating the site, Riggs, who during the Vietnam War served as a U.S. Army Special Forces, finds part of the bomb, a mercury switch. Knowing only professionals would use such a device, a neighborhood child also remembers seeing a man at Dixie's earlier in the day who had Special Forces tattoos similar to Riggs's own. Seeing the connection, they decide that Michael Hunsaker knows more than he has admitted, and Murtaugh confronts him at Amanda's visitation. Oh, that's where... See, I thought they were in the bank that Hunsaker works for. I didn't realize they were at her visitation.
They did make it look a lot like it was business, and they was just at his work. I don't think most people would have got that was a visitation. I don't think you're alone in that.
The scene switched, though.
Yeah.
The scene switched because at first it makes it look like that they're in a bank, and then it switches to like his private office or something, and then because you see Riggs out on the lawn, and then there's like this crest of a wall, and then there's the ocean, so
right.
that they're at his house.
Yeah, but it takes a while to figure that out. It definitely appears at the beginning that they're at a bank or they're at his job or, something like that. It doesn't appear that it's a visitation until you kind of see more and put it together.
Yeah. What it boils down to as far as this whole scene is Hunsaker admits he was involved in heroin smuggling with General Peter McAllister, played by Mitchell Ryan, and Mr. Joshua, played by Gary Busey, which this is probably the only film of Busey's that I've ever seen.
Really?
I think so. I have to go back and look through his IMDb, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the only films of his that I've ever seen.
Well, then you basically have seen all his films then, because he basically has a very narrow range of characters that he can portray.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is pretty much it. If you've seen this one, you've seen his range of acting.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, basically Hunsaker's bad. He's not the good guy that he appears to be, and it sets it up basically that we have now this Mr. Joshua and Peter McAllister now head to head against Riggs and Murtaugh, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
And basically, they're obviously Riggs and Murtaugh are still trying to investigate, trying to figure out all the connections and whatnot. But the members of the Shadow Company basically are becoming involved now in attempting to kill Riggs.
Oh yeah, they attempted it and they succeeded because they wanted them to succeed. I think that's what they had planned all along.
Right.
Because he says, Raj, we've got the upper hand now. They think I'm dead. Let's run with it.
And that's just a great plot device too. I know it's been used since then. I don't know how many times it was used, before then. But it's always good that when you have a good character who, appears to be dead, or everyone thinks they're dead, because, like you said, that's a great advantage for them, and it leads to so many different options for you as a filmmaker, as a writer, or whatever, to have a cool way to bring that character back and to surprise the bad guys.
Yes, we have to go back a scene though, because I forgot to mention the gun range Have a nice day.
Oh yeah.
The when they're showing off at the gun range and all, I thought that was friggin' hilarious.
It's just another great Mel Gibson scene.
Oh yeah.
When he shows up, and basically, he makes the design and shows up Murtaugh.
Yes. So as Riggs and Murtaugh attempt to... Okay, I think we already got off.
Yeah, we're basically at the point where Riggs is supposedly dead, and the Shadow Company have kidnapped Murtaugh's daughter, Rhiannon, or however you say her name.
Yeah, Rhiannon, you got it right.
Yeah.
That electroshock therapy, boy, I wouldn't want to go through that.
No.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
And you got to admit, Mel is I know Mel Gibson was an awesome actor in his day. Nowadays, I don't know so much of how he's kept.
I still love him.
But back then, Jesus Christ, those screams, holy crap.
Mel Gibson, I don't care what people say about him now. I don't care how many fake telephone messages we hear about him and whatnot. I'm sorry, but they're all doctored up. Anyway, I don't care how many tirades he goes on against whoever, whatever group he's lashing out on. Mm-hmm. To me, people never give him enough credit for the range of acting that he can do. And what I'm talking about is you can have Mel Gibson be this like freaking stud of a war character, like in The Patriot, like in Braveheart, obviously. You can have him be this crazy guy like he is in Lethal Weapon and Conspiracy Theory. You can have him be this romantic dude like in What Women Want. And people don't know about his Shakespeare movies as much, but he was in Hamlet doing Shakespeare and stuff like that. I mean, this guy can do just about anything. And what we're seeing in the Lethal Weapons is him, basically, in my opinion, from a physical standpoint of acting at his prime. Now, I think he's even better of an actor in a few years, obviously, when you get to Braveheart and that type of stuff. But physically, he's at his prime in the Lethal Weapon series. Oh, yeah, I completely agree. But yeah, that scene is just disturbing when they're shocking him with the electric, whatever you want to call it. The thing looks like a loofah, is what it looks like. Yeah, it's the worst loofah ever. Exactly. Talk about tearing your skin up, jeez. Yeah. So the pair then fight their way free of their prison, finding themselves in a downtown LA nightclub. Riggs chases Joshua onto the street and attempts to cut him off on the freeway. Though Joshua ultimately escapes, Murtaugh finds McAllister trying to flee in his car. Taking out McAllister's driver, Murtaugh watches as the car crashes on Hollywood Boulevard and is blown up by a live hand grenade along with the heroin shipment. Then comes go ahead and talk about that scene for a second if you want to. First of all, when I first saw these films, like when I first saw this, like not even when I was 10 or 11 at the time, but like when I was a little bit older, like 15, 16 when I saw it again, I really paid no attention to the character of McAllister at all until I think I was like 20 or 21. And I saw the actor, Mitchell Ryan, in the TV show Dharma and Greg as Greg's dad. And I went back and I watched this film. I'm like, what the hell is Greg's dad doing in Lethal Weapon? Nice, I didn't know that. Yeah. So he took out McAllister's car and he exploded himself. Riggs and Murtaugh then head to Murtaugh's home, knowing Joshua will be heading there to attack Murtaugh's family, who are absent. While Joshua is arrested and led away without incident, Riggs, wanting revenge, proposes a shot at the title. This is one of the greatest scenes of the movie. Oh yeah, this is by far it's got to be the best scene in the movie. It might be one of the best fight scenes of the entire decade of the 80s in a movie. Yeah. I mean, we've had some crazy fight scenes and shit since then because we got crazy, graphic and visual effects ability. Obviously, Matrix and even the fights in Sherlock Holmes are incredible. But this, as far as like 80s go, this is probably my favorite fight scene. Yeah. Sanctioned by Murtaugh, Riggs engages Joshua in hand-to-hand combat on Murtaugh's front lawn. In a brutal fight, Riggs locks Joshua in the triangle chokehold. Riggs releases the pressure and says, "You're not worth it." Riggs is the victor. Being arrested, Joshua overpowers two officers
and attempts to shoot Riggs. Riggs and Murtaugh both draw and fire, killing Joshua.
Which fits with the fact that nobody survives
Huh?
Riggs. Which fits the whole thing that Riggs never leaves someone not dead.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just wait till we get to Lethal Weapon 2. Wow, it gets even worse.
This is just a prime example of him trying to let someone live, even, and it still
Oh
doesn't work
yeah,
out.
yeah.
But this is just a great scene. The fight, they're out in the lawn. They're all wet.
Yeah, because it's raining or something.
Yeah, it's raining, and it seems like there's a sprinkler directly hitting them. But they're soaking wet. They're laying out punches that it's like punches that when you throw the punch so hard that you knock yourself over almost.
Oh yeah.
They're just knocking the crap out of each other, and then he catches him in that chokehold, and it's just like, holy cow! It's just a great scene.
Yep. Murtaugh and Riggs are now solid friends, and Riggs spends Christmas Day at the Murtaugh home with Roger's family. Riggs brings his dog Sam to be a friend to the Murtaugh family cat, Burbank, which proves to be disastrous. Riggs also gives Murtaugh a symbolic gift, the unfired bullet which he had been saving to commit suicide, as he does not need it anymore. I like the line. I wrote some stuff down. We've kind of talked about some of it, but I like the line when, like, after he's escaped the torture thing and he's just going on a rampage, he comes in, who's fucking next?
Yeah. And, there's a lot of things, obviously, that are done in this movie that are basically set up to be repeated. We've talked about the fact that Riggs is always going to kill someone. He always kills everybody he deals with. Another thing that you had written down, basically, the whole Murtaugh line where he's, in every movie he basically says something about, I'm too old for this shit.
Oh, yeah. This is the first...
Right.
Obviously, since this is the first film in the series, but I mean, the first ever, I'm too old for this shit line.
Yeah, and it's just a great line from him because it just fits his character so well.
Oh, yeah. Some of the themes that the movies and just overall the entire series has, in this one, because Riggs is described by Murtaugh as a lethal weapon, the former Special Forces soldier has been reduced to suicidal killing machine after the death of his wife. The main story arc of the entire series is about the redemption and recovery of Martin Riggs and how Murtaugh and his family, providing a focus around which Riggs can rebuild his shattered life. The running gag about Murtaugh forever delayed retirement is crucial not only to the longevity of the series, but also to the gradual healing of Riggs. By the fourth installment, which we'll get to, Riggs has rebuilt his life and no longer needs the constant support of Murtaugh. Murtaugh thus earns more than a long overdue retirement. He also earns a friend for life.
Yeah.
Which I think that pretty much sums up all four films. Good night, everybody.
Basically, yeah.
No.
But this film, and basically all four films. I mean, I know we're just talking about this one now, but they're basically the perfect blend and mix of action and comedy.
Yep.
There has been very few films that have done this so well. Usually, it goes too far to the comedic standpoint where you can't take the film seriously because you just are viewing it as a straight comedy. Or it's such an action film that the attempts at comedy are just not, believable or not, it's just kind of like side effect type things.
Yeah.
And this one has neither. It's you view this movie as an action movie, but the comedy is done so well that it's just kind of like a byproduct. Like you get done watching it and you're like, yeah, I just watched a kick-ass, like beat 'em up, shoot 'em up, awesome action movie, but I also laughed my ass off.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a perfect blend.
And they and this kind of I think your hatred of sequels is only to Disney films, but if I'm wrong in that, correct me, because I got to tell you, the comedy just keeps getting better with these as this series progresses. I think because all through 2, 3, and 4, I was laughing my ass off at certain parts.
Yeah, my hatred. I automatically hate a Disney sequel. Sequels to live-action movies, I automatically will give a chance. I might hate it after I watch it, but I'll at least watch it, where I won't watch Disney sequels.
Well, you will be watching Disney sequels for Tooncast.
I mean, I won't do it for my own pleasure.
Well, then you're doing
I might do it for other purposes, but... but yeah, these I don't know, these I watch all of these. They could make 4 more of these, and I would watch them.
We'll get to that. We'll talk about the potential sequel when we get down to the 4th film, because I don't want to jump the gun on that or make speculations just yet. We'll do that once we get to the 4th film. What did you think of the music in this?
Honestly, I mean, I'm not saying anything bad about the music, but there's so much going on during the movie that it's very easy to not even notice the music. I mean, you notice the music because when you hear it, it's like classic 80s / like you, especially if you've seen the movies already. Whenever you hear this type of music, you think of Lethal Weapon or you think of this type of movie. But I think when you first watch the movie, for me at least, there's so much that I'm paying attention to and there's so much good stuff going on that I don't even think about the music the first time.
Well, it's kind of hard to miss Jingle Bell Rock opening the film.
Right. No. And it's pretty hard to hear that song now and not think of Lethal Weapon. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you hear the music later, you automatically think of the movie, but when you're watching the movie, you don't necessarily think of the music.
Yeah.
I guess, for me. Yeah,
and that's cool. I love the little theme that Michael Kamen, because he had completed work on Highlander and then composed the score for Lethal Weapon. The guitar part of Riggs' theme was performed by Eric Clapton, which I think, again, that is, like you said, that's pretty much classic 80s. I mean, Eric Clapton was one of the best guitar players, if not of all time, but especially in the 80s.
Right.
And that's just a great thing. As far as the reception goes, it was released on March 6, 1987. Lethal Weapon was number 1 at the box office for 3 weeks before Blind Date. Blind Date overtook it. Oh God!
Never even heard of that movie.
Look it up on IMDb.
No thanks.
You'll be ranting and raving. Oh my God. Fucking Blind Date. I can't believe that. It grossed $120 million worldwide and was nominated for an Academy Award for sound and for sound effects editing. The former was won by The Last Emperor. Oh, Jesus. And the latter was won by RoboCop. Well, that's not so bad.
Right.
It is widely considered to be one of the best buddy cop films of all time, influencing numerous buddy cop films such as Tango and Cash, Bad Boys, and the Rush Hour series. Ugh,
it's better than all of those.
Now I do have to.
Those aren't bad. I'm not saying those are bad, but this is better than all of those.
I agree, but I did like Tango and Cash. Not better than these, but I like that film on its own merits because that's just. That's
in my opinion,
that you wouldn't normally see.
In my opinion, this is one of the best buddy cop films ever, and it has been tried and tried and tried again in the last 20 years to be duplicated without success.
Yeah, and critic Roger Ebert particularly enjoyed the film, giving it 4 out of 4 stars, saying director Richard Donner tops himself.
Why can't I not hear director Richard Donner's name without thinking of...
Dick.
No, without thinking of Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't know why.
Oh, wow. Worse than what I said.
Moving right along.
Yes, Franco Zeffirelli reportedly decided to offer Mel Gibson on the role of Hamlet after seeing his suicide contemplation scene in this film.
And if you guys if people out there haven't seen the Hamlet version with Mel Gibson, you need to watch it. It is definitely worth a watch. Regardless of if you like Shakespeare or not, just seeing Mel Gibson and it's awesome.
In 2007, Entertainment Weekly named it number 24 on their list of the greatest action movies of all time. It scores a 90% rating at Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I recently, not recently, I guess it was a couple months ago, I made a list of the, what was that called? The best 50 movies of the 80s, and I'm trying to think of where I put Lethal Weapon.
It better be in the top 10, damn it.
I'll get it for you in a second. As we go through, I'll think of it. But
while he's doing that, I did not know that there were alternative versions of this film. An alternate opening and ending were both filmed and are available on the Lethal Weapon 4 DVD. The alternate opening features Martin Riggs drinking alone in a bar where he is accosted by a couple of hookers. who want his money. Riggs claims all of his is in the bank and tells the thugs not to fuck with him. The thugs attack him, but Riggs easily subdues them. He is then allowed to take a free bottle of booze from the bar in exchange for never returning. Director Richard Donner felt the movie should open with a brighter look at Riggs and filmed the scene with Riggs awakening in his trailer to replace it. The alternate ending features Riggs and Murtaugh saying goodbye to one another. Murtaugh tells Riggs he is thinking of retiring, but Riggs tells him not to. In addition to the theatrical release of the film, an extended director's cut version was released later on DVD. The director's cut version is longer, 117 minutes, than the original theatrical release version of 110 minutes, and features additional scenes. One notable extended scene includes Riggs dispatching a sniper who had been firing at children in a playground.
And that, just for the, you know, that those scenes are all on the director's cut of the movie. They're also on my version of the fourth movie. My version of Lethal Weapon 4, unless you might have said this, basically has all the deleted scenes from all the movies.
Let me pull it out of the set here.
Mine has the deleted scenes from 1, 2, and 3.
Damn it.
On the one for Lethal Weapon 4. I know that seems weird, but that must
it does. Yeah.
So you can see that. I'm assuming that's one of them. I haven't watched the deleted scenes yet.
Yeah, I didn't watch the deleted scenes.
But I'm assuming if you have the fourth disc, the fourth movie, you have this deleted stuff, these 7 minutes that are missing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for the record, I rated this as the number 1 movie of 1987 and the number 9th movie of the entire decade.
At least it made the top 10.
Made the top 10 safely.
As far as home video releases, Lethal Weapon has been released on VHS and DVD numerous times, along with a singular Blu-ray release. The first DVD was released in 1997, featured the theatrical version of the film. The director's cut was released in 2000. Since then, numerous sets have been released that contain all 4 films in the series, featuring the same DVDs. The theatrical version was also released on Blu-ray in 2006. Being an early release, the Blu-ray features are lackluster audio and video quality and is not recommended for fans to pick up. I seriously hope, even though I have to get a separate cable to actually view Blu-ray on my fucking computer, which I think is stupid, and that's a whole other rant I'm not going to get into. I seriously hope if some sort of anniversary of this is coming up, I think the next anniversary is 2017. I would assume by then they would put out some sort of, whether they re-release the DVDs, make 2-disc editions, make Blu-ray editions, and go back and talk to all the original cast of all 4 films, or do something. And just
I'm hoping for something big because I at one point want to get these all in a singular box set.
Yeah, I mean, the one that I have, the complete series, I don't even know how much I paid for it. I got it at Best Buy, and it's nice because they're all in one thing, but it's pretty much the same individual DVDs that have been released out over the years, just put into a set, but it's nice to have them all in one place. Mm-hmm. Overall, this first film, you get to see how the two of them, even though Riggs and Murtaugh are pretty much forced together as partners, and Riggs, he doesn't care. Murtaugh doesn't really, he's reluctant, but he'll go along with it, I guess. But it's really great to see them, come together as friends and really learn about each other. Like the scene in the parking garage. What do you carry? What do you carry? Oh, right. Old timers carry those.
Yeah, it's just so great. You fall in love with both of these characters, basically, not obviously in an actual love way, but I mean, you instantly are drawn to these two characters, and the end of the first film leaves you wanting a sequel.
Oh yeah, so much more.
Yeah, you're like, I want to see at least one to 10 more movies with these two in them.
Do we have any final thoughts on the first film here? Anything else you want to talk about?
Freaking fantastic.
Yeah,
one of my favorite films of all time.
I agree. And now the trailer for Lethal Weapon 2.
Who is it?
Police, open up.
How do I know you're the police?
After I shoot you through the door, you can examine the bullet. Open up.
Mel Gibson, Danny Glover,
Come on, let's go, Raj.
No, we shouldn't go.
Let's go. Come on, Raj. Don't be a killjoy.
Come on, we're back.
We're bad. You're black. I'm mad.
Man.
Hey, listen. If we're going, shouldn't I have a gun?
No.
now get ready for something lethal.
I'm surprised you haven't heard about me. You know, I got a bad reputation, and sometimes I just go nuts like now.
Because the magic
Gun.
is back.
Martin, out the window. No. You all right, man?
Yeah, I'm okay. Where were you, man? You my partner or what? Why didn't you follow me down?
Yeah, why don't you follow him down?
Shut up. I'm 7 floors up.
Lethal Weapon 2.
You go first. I'm really too old for this.
You go first. I'll cover you.
Ah!
Meeny, miny.
Good police work, officer.
Come on.
No.
Back to my place. Hey, I'll even cook.
You're lucky. I have to live with that.
You're not gonna make it.
I'm gonna make it.
You know, there's not enough room.
You were right, you know. Yeah, there wasn't enough room.
Lethal Weapon 2. This time, they're not taking any crap.
Just get off me, man. I don't want anybody to see us like that.
Alright, so Lethal Weapon 2 is a 1989 action comedy film directed by Richard Donner and starring Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Patsy Kensit, Joe Pesci, Derek O'Connor, and Joss Ackland. It is the first sequel to the 1987 film Lethal Weapon, and it is part of the Lethal Weapon film series. Gibson and Glover respectively reprised their roles as LAPD officers Martin Riggs and Roger Murtaugh, who this time have to protect an irritating federal witness, played by Pesci, while taking on a gang of South African drug dealers who are hiding behind diplomatic immunity. When did you first see this one?
Right after I first saw the first one. Like I said before, basically I did not watch these. Obviously, I wasn't allowed to watch these when I was 6, and this one I would have been 8. So I wasn't allowed to watch them when they came out, nor was I allowed to watch them, for a few years. But when I was in junior high, I saw the first one for the first time and immediately got the second one. I don't know if I rented it or if they were doing having them both on TV or something. But I watched these two basically like back-to-back days or back-to-back viewings.
Yeah, again, I would have to say that I watched these somewhere. I watched this one somewhere maybe 1992.
Yeah, that sounds about right for me. Somewhere in between 92 and 93, 94, somewhere in there.
Well, the third one came out in 93.
Okay, I probably saw it in 92 then.
So, yeah.
But I just the funny thing is, you hear that, the plot description we just read, you would think this movie is some type of ridiculous, stupid plot, there's no way anyone could take this movie seriously. Are you serious? You're these two officers are, protecting an irritating federal witness while taking on a gang of South African drug dealers. What?
Oh, no. And that's what I love about the Lethal films. After the first one, they bring you in. I mean, the first one brought you in because it kind of prefaced it. But the problem with original films, especially, and this isn't, I'm not really trying to get off on a tangent here, especially with superhero films, you have to have an origin story. With this film series, you had to have an origin story. You had to have the two of them meet. You had to look introspectively into both of their lives with the first film. With this one, you have the characters established. Go.
Right.
That's pretty much all it is.
But it's just funny. It's if you would have just given someone just the plot and not told them it was Lethal Weapon, not told them it was Mel Gibson and Danny Glover or Joe Pesci involved, and you would have just read that we're gonna have two cops protecting a very annoying federal witness while taking on a gang of South African drug dealers. You'd be like, "What are we? Is this Crocodile Dundee? What are we doing?"
Wow.
But it worked. I like Crocodile Dundee, but I'm just saying.
Damn it.
It would have sounded more like something just weird and obscure like that.
Why is it every time I talk to people on this damn podcast that they bring up movies that I don't have on the fucking schedule and I have to add them to the damn schedule?
I'm on that show, damn it.
All right.
But it sounds more like something just completely off the cuff, like something bizarre, like you would have in this, like a Crocodile Dundee setting type thing. You're like, what? But no, it's Lethal Weapon. It's Mel Gibson. It's Danny Glover. It's Joe Pesci. Awesomeness ensues.
Oh, yes, very much so. So getting into the plot of Lethal Weapon 2, the story opens up with LAPD sergeants Martin Riggs and Roger Murtaugh engaged in a car chase with a red BMW E24. After it crashes, they move in to arrest the driver but find he has escaped. Searching the car, they discover the trunk is full of South African Krugerrands, gold coins which are illegal in the U.S. due to sanctions against the South African apartheid regime. Later that night, Murtaugh and Trish are attacked, tied up to their bed, and gagged at his home by thugs dressed in black hoods who warn him to cease the investigation around the Krugerrands. When Murtaugh still doesn't relent, they later resort to wiring a bomb to his toilet seat and set it to go off. When he stands up again, Riggs is able to save his partner from the precarious predicament through the bathroom as inevitably suffers for it.
This is one of my favorite Lethal Weapon scenes of all time.
Oh, God.
and you know, that description doesn't do it justice.
No, it doesn't, because, and again, I've said this before, just for general purposes of getting stuff out of the way, I get all the information from Wiki, and sometimes people who write articles or write shit on Wiki don't really write, long, drawn out. I mean, that's pretty much like the first, I'd say, 45 minutes to an hour of the film. Yeah.
And basically you have Danny Glover sitting on a toilet with his pants down around his ankles, and realizing it's a bomb. And then you have, it's probably one of the best parts of the scene is that, he's trying to do this all kind of like quietly. He gets, Riggs' attention or whoever it is, and, Riggs, and he, he's like, please don't tell anybody, blah, blah, blah. And of course, Riggs brings in, like, the full force of everybody he could possibly call to come in while this guy's got his pants around his ankles. And the way they get out of it is basically they suit up with bulletproof vests and they propel themselves into the bathtub, which is, whatever it's made out of, which is going to somehow protect them.
I think the bomb squad guy said it's a good old cast iron tub, so it'll protect you. Yeah.
But I got to bring up something about this scene because it probably didn't happen when I first watched it, because I remember the first time I watched it, it was either on TV, like on HBO or something like that, or it was a rental or something like that. But when I got it on DVD and watched it, the first time I watched it by myself, I was watching this scene, and for the first time in the explosion, you have the toilet blow up, they jump in the tub, and then it cuts to an outside scene in their lawn, and the toilet lands. When I saw that on the DVD, all of a sudden I was like, wait a second. I swear to God, when that toilet landed, I could just see inside the bowl, and as gross as this is, I'm like, I swear to God, it was covered in you-know-what.
Shit.
Yeah. And I got up and went back, and I was watching it, scene by, like, frame by frame. And I swear to God, still, it looks exactly like, I don't know if they did that on purpose or what they did, but it looks like there's shit in the bowl when it lands in the yard.
It doesn't just land in the yard; it lands on a car.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. I was like, that is so disgusting. Awesome.
Well, I mean, seriously, if you'd been stuck on a toilet for, what is it, like almost
a long time,
stuck there like almost 2 days. I mean, seriously, of course you're gonna shit.
It just seemed funny that they actually thought to make it look like that, or maybe it was unintentional, but great job.
It was unintentional, I don't know.
Oh, goodness. But that basically, segues into the next part of the movie, which is the introduction of our annoying federal witness Leo gets.
Yeah, here we go.
Whatever Leo wants, Leo gets.
Yeah, no. So basically, they have been reassigned to protecting federal witness Leo Getz, played by Joe Pesci, a crooked, loudmouth accountant who, after feeling his life was in danger, decided to blow the whistle on his money-laundering clients. Mere moments after arriving at Getz's hotel room, an assassin posing as a room service enters the room and tries to kill Getz. Riggs and Murtaugh subsequently discover Getz has been laundering funds for the same drug smugglers, and he leads them to their base of operations, a house on stilts.
I love the house on stilts.
Oh, I love the house on stilts when it's attached to a truck and... Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I love the destruction of the house on stilts.
This is basically one of my favorite Joe Pesci roles, though. Comedic-wise. Obviously, he has some serious performances that are pretty kick-ass, too, but this is one of my favorite comedic Joe Pesci roles ever.
Yeah. Damn
I
it.
love him as Leo Getz.
I'm just thinking now of all the other crap that he's played in as far as comedic stuff, and the first thing that comes to mind is Two Utes.
Oh, God.
You gotta add My Cousin Vinny to the schedule. Okay, so Roger's like, no, not out the window. Crash, boom, splash.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 pool shots in 2 films.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh, what did you think of that? Did you expect that? I mean, seriously. I mean, okay, they're going to go out the window, but did you expect them to land in a pool?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's it's just a great introduction of a new character. You automatically know what this character is about. You get it. You don't need any more backstory on him, and now you got 3 characters, and you're good to go with them.
Yep. So, getting back to the house on stilts here, Riggs recognizes one of the men in the house as the assassin from the hotel. The assassin tries to make an escape by stealing a tow truck parked outside the house. Riggs jumps onto the back of the tow truck, and Murtaugh and Getz chase after it. Riggs and the suspect later that day. Riggs and Murtaugh return to the house on stilts with full backup of detectives and uniform officers. Attempting to arrest the gang, Riggs and Murtaugh are confronted by Arjun Rudd, played by Joss Ackland, the Minister of Affairs for the South African Consulate. Rudd indignantly invokes diplomatic immunity on behalf of himself and his quote-unquote staff, and threatens to report Riggs and Murtaugh to the State Department for violating South African soil.
It was a great scene because it was like one of those times where Riggs had to basically back down, which is so out of his character, and you can just tell how much is eating up inside, and it's such a good way to set up, him unleashing his anger later on.
Oh, yeah.
It's great when Riggs can't do something or is stopped or is muffled from, expressing his true feelings, because it's going to be even bigger and badder when he finally does.
I think it's hilarious after that scene what Riggs starts to do. Like, every 5 minutes in the movie after that scene, you see the Rudd guy going to different places. Boom, Riggs is there. Boom, Riggs.
Oh, yeah.
Boom, Riggs.
I love it when he's holding the protest sign or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Or he's driving, by.
Yep. Yep.
It's just great.
Yep. Let me see here. Where's... okay. I'm trying to see if the... I don't think it is. Oh, okay, yeah. They don't go into the... They don't go into the full scene, but... So Riggs can get into the consulate office where Rudd shot the guy that failed him earlier on plastic paper, or plaster, or whatever the hell, looked like a paint tarp. But anyway, so in order to get Riggs in there, Murtaugh and Getz go to distract the consulate guards, and Getz is like, I want you to convince my friend that it's not a good thing to go back to South Africa. And I think that's hilarious how they have white South African drug dealers, and yet Murtaugh is black.
Yeah.
and oh God, they basically go back and forth, and he's like, well, sure, I want to go back to South Africa. I want to go back to my brothers, But sir, yes, we know he's black, or however as she said it. Oh God, I can't believe that they put a line like that in a movie. Oh jeez.
Yeah, it was a very, very comedic scene, which basically the only purpose it serves for the plot is, them
you
getting
get Riggs
name.
in there.
Riggs gets in there, gets that name of Alba Varden.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to have a bunch of comedic stuff to basically only serve one purpose. Very minor plot detail at the time. Obviously it'll be bigger later, but that was the whole purpose for that whole scene.
Yes, and then Riggs has a romance with Rudd's secretary, Rika Vandenhaas, who strongly dislikes both her boss and her country's policies. Riggs invites her to dinner at his trailer, and they end up sleeping together.
Because Riggs is a poop?
Yep.
Sorry.
Well, hell, we already saw his butt in the first film. Now we get to see her tits in this one.
That's true. And then, basically, meanwhile, Rudd has decided to deal with his police problems once and for all, and he orders Peter Vorstedt, his chief enforcer, who is played by Derek O'Connor, to begin a campaign of violence against the LAPD. And this is kind of a crazy set of scenes, basically, too, where we just see cop after cop being brutally murdered.
Yeah. I don't know how plausible. Okay, I get that Vorsted's, breaking into the black cop. What was his name? Crap.
Can't remember.
I can't remember either. But there's another black cop, and he breaks into his apartment or whatever, and he's lifting weights. So, I mean, that's plausible.
Yeah. Isn't that one with a card game or something?
Yeah, the card game thing, that's plausible because they're inside the house, and but again, they're cops. They should hear somebody roll, if you're going to roll around under your house, they should hear somebody doing that. The one that's not really plausible to me is the pool one with the female.
That was good.
It was good. I'm not saying it wasn't good, but it just
actually that scene right there, like, actually shocked me the first time I saw it. I was like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
I love that scene. Even if it's not plausible, it's a great scene.
Oh, yeah. So while guarding Getz, Murtaugh views an old family video and finally remembers that Alba Vartan is the name of a South African ship currently at the docks. We
should not to interrupt you, but we should get in there because we haven't said it yet, and those that don't know, Murtaugh is a ship lover. And, he basically has his own ship, and he's big into ships, so
yeah.
That's why he recognizes it.
Yeah, well, was it this movie?
Not as much as I think
I'm trying to think. Which movie was the nail gun?
That's this one.
Yeah.
That's this one.
Yeah. He had a boat, and, okay, yeah.
So he's a boat aficionado, so that's why he recognizes this name.
Yeah, exactly. So he suddenly realizes that Rudd is planning to use the ship to smuggle his billions of drug money to Cape Town. He is then attacked by two of Vorstedt's men, but manages to thwart them with a nail gun. There we go. I love that nail gun of doom.
That was awesome. That's another great scene. It's just another totally unexpected way that they bring in. The reason this is better than most buddy cop films or most films anything like this is because they don't just kill people. They come up with damn creative ways to kill people. Every time someone dies, it's like a new shocker, like a new unique way, and you're just like, holy cow.
Yep. At the same time, Leo is kidnapped while sitting unguarded in Murtaugh's car. While in bed with Rico, Riggs is warned by his barking dog of an impending attack by Rudd's men and two Eurocopter AS-350s. Riggs manages to escape after counterattacking using the machine gun out of one of the attackers. However, when he returns Rika to her house, he is knocked out and captured by Vorstedt. As Vorstedt prepares to drop the trussed-up Riggs into the Los Angeles harbor, he taunts him about the death of his wife. Vorstedt reveals that Riggs, then a narcotics officer in Long Beach, California, had been costing the gang too much money. Therefore, Rudd had ordered Vorstedt to run Riggs's car off the road, but inadvertently killed Mrs. Riggs instead. Coldly mocking his bad luck with women, Vorstedt drops the now enraged Riggs off the docks in a straitjacket and leaves him to drown. Now, we gotta go back because we didn't, and this is one of the reasons why I hate Wiki, but I'm too much of a lazy geek to write up my own damn plot synopsises. They didn't even mention, as far as I know, the scene in the police station with the straitjacket and the old shoulder injury.
Oh my god, that was a great scene too. I almost forgot about it.
Yeah. Well, the only reason why I remember it is because of him being in the water, and I should have remembered.
It's a super important plot point too.
Oh yeah. But they show him. They're all, the whole point of these films, like when they're in the police station, is they take bets on, or Riggs will put up something about Murtaugh. I think it's the third film that it's the condom commercial with Murtaugh's daughter.
There's basically always office hijinks going on, and Riggs
there's all these hijinks and everything else, and he's sitting there in the office in the straitjacket, and they're all putting bets down and money down. if he can get out of it or not. And he basically dislocates his shoulder.
Oh my goodness, that's a horrible scene to watch.
Dislocates his shoulder. He just like twitches out of it, dislocates it.
Well, no, he freaking slammed his arm against.
No, wait, no, that's to get it back into place. I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
When he's actually getting out of the straitjacket, he's
that's true.
twisting and turning his shoulder, and it dislocates itself, and he gets out within like 5 seconds. And then he goes, it's an old shoulder injury. The only problem about it is getting it back into place. And he goes up next to the wall and goes, bam! And you can hear the crack, but the first thing you hear is his scream.
Yeah, you're just like, oh my goodness, that sounds. You can just feel how much that would hurt.
Gotta hurt.
So basically, that's very important because obviously now when he's
when he's in the water,
he's going to get out of it the same way.
Yeah, he dislocates his shoulder, but he finds Rika nearby, drowned. Although Vorstedt has already left, Riggs brutally beats the other 2 South Africans to death. Seething with hatred, he calls Murtaugh and announces he is going after Vorstedt and Rudd to avenge the deaths of his wife, Rika, and the rest of their squad. Now, when I watched Lethal Weapon 2 the other night, one of the guards that he killed after he got out of the water, I had to actually look Lethal 2 up on IMDb to make sure I was right or wrong. I could have sworn one of those guards, when they walked away the first time after they dropped him in, looked just like fucking Quentin Tarantino. And I'm like, what the hell is Quentin Tarantino doing in this film? But it wasn't him. So, but it just, I don't know, for some strange reason, the guy just looked just like him for some odd reason, I don't know.
This is one of those scenes, though, where it's just like, when he sees the dead, his new girl being dead and drowned in the water or whatever, you just know it's like, oh yeah, they just pissed the wrong person off. It's like just one of those moments in a film where you're like, shouldn't have done that. Yeah, exactly.
Murtaugh reminds Riggs that they have no authority. Riggs simply replies, I'm not a cop tonight, it's personal. Leaving his own badge at the station, Murtaugh leaves to help him kill Vorstedt and Rudd. Meeting at Rudd's stilt house, Murtaugh heads inside to rescue Leo. Meanwhile, Riggs uses his truck to dislocate the stilts, causing the house to collapse just as Getz and Murtaugh escape. After sending Getz back to the precinct, Murtaugh and Riggs go to the dock where the Alba Vartan is, moored. They enter the cargo container that is sitting on the dock to discover it's filled with millions of Arjen Rudd's and Peter Vorstedt's drug money. But their presence is discovered, and the cargo container is sealed, lifted with a crane, and intend for them to suffocate. However, they use the Mercedes within the container to bust their way out, causing all the money to blow out of the container into the Los Angeles Bay. Riggs and Murtaugh rappel down the ropes and onto the deck of the Alba Vartan, where they have final confrontation with Rudd and Vorstedt. Wow. Where to start?
Starting with the truck. I mean, this is just basic badass right here. I'm going to hook my truck up to your house, and I'm going to fucking bring your house down. Like, who would do that?
I don't think it was, but I wonder if it was a Ford F-Series.
Oh, God.
No, all right, but what was Ford's slogan a few years ago? Ford built tough, whatever it was, because they showed all these weird commercials of them pushing and pulling stuff. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this. I'm like, holy crap! And the best line in this whole scene is like, Riggs, what's your signal gonna be? You'll know it when you see it. And Roger's like, I'm pretty sure I have a feeling I will.
Yeah, it's just a great scene. I love the house on stilts coming down, and then of course them coming out of the whatever you want to call it, the cargo container with the Mercedes or whatever it is.
And my question is, and I'm not trying to really overanalyze it because I know it is a film, and it's one of my favorite films, but why do these villains put their favorite fucking cars in these containers with their other merchandise? That makes no sense to me.
Right.
There was another movie that's what the hell was it? Was it Indy 3? Yeah, Last Crusade.
Yeah.
There was Last Crusade, because they had There was some film. It might have not have been in. Maybe not last year. I don't know. There was some film where there was a car in a.
There's been a car in a plane that drives out of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's been other things, but I know there's been a plane situation where the guys get in the back of the car that's in the plane and drive out of it.
Yeah.
And there's stuff like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know. I know what it was. It was fucking. Oh Jesus! It's with Charlie Sheen. Damn it. Terminal.
It's happened more than once.
Terminal Velocity.
Yeah. It's happened to MacGyver a few times too.
Oh, MacGyver. Well,
Don't ever say that again.
What? I'm not saying anything bad about it. I said everything happens to that guy.
And then you have basically the final confrontation.
Yeah. Basically, final confrontation. Eventually, Vorstead and Riggs engage in brutal hand-to-hand showdown. Riggs eventually stabs Vorstead with his own knife and leaves him for dead. However, Vorstead pulls out a gun, aims it at Riggs' back in the nick of time. Riggs completes his revenge by pressing a button and dropping a cargo container on Vorstead. All right, now
that's awesome.
There's no question whether he allows him to live or this isn't like Gary Busey.
Right.
You killed my wife, you asshole. Click. Boom.
Here comes a cargo container. Yeah, that's awesome.
Exactly.
And this is my favorite part of the whole movie.
Yeah.
This next part.
Suddenly, Rudd appears behind Riggs and shoots him with a Mauser C96. Outraged, Murtaugh draws his gun and attempts to arrest the diplomat. Rudd holds up his ID and gloats. Diplomatic immunity. Murtaugh shoots him in the head and replies, "It's just been revoked."
That's so awesome because you never see that in films, or at least not like in these films that are supposed to be, for the whole appeasing the general public or whatever. You might have some more hardcore.
And as the film closes, running to his partner, Murtaugh finds that although critically wounded, Riggs is still alive. The two buddies laugh and joke as the sirens come for them in the background. Some of the notes I've got down here. Oh man, let's see. I'm just gonna go from beginning to end because I take my notes as I watch whatever I'm taking notes on. So, Looney Tunes-esque intro music, that was awesome. You do know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
At the very beginning for the WB logo,
right?
It's part of it is like a Looney Tunes or a Merry Melody. I said already. I love how this one starts out. Bam! They're in the middle of action with a dual car chase. Anybody up for a swim?
Yeah, I got that theme continuing to run throughout the movie.
Yep. Toilet bomb. Tell me I'm not fucked. He's fucked. Eeny, meeny, miny. Hey, Mo! Nyah, nyah.
Yeah,
and that's something that I want to bring up. Mel apparently loves the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
And it came out in this movie, and wow. That was just awesome. I already said this one, Nail Gun of Doom. And then the continuity as far as what we find out. I mean, we kind of found out in the first one that she got in a car accident, but it didn't really give it anything. And I like how this one, they give this more continuity. So it's like,
oh yeah,
they give the characters more continuity. Like before Riggs and Murtaugh even met, Riggs was a very good cop doing his thing on the drug enforcement thing or whatever he was a part of, LAPD in Long Beach or whatever. And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, my favorite two scenes are by far the toilet scene and the last scene where he says, it's just been revoked. Those two for this film stick with me the most.
I don't know, for some strange reason, Nail Gun of Doom, that kind of gets...
That's pretty good too.
I mean, that's...
it's full of good moments.
Yeah, very, very awesome. We kind of mentioned music for the first film. I really didn't... Outside of the Looney Tunes thing, I didn't really notice a lot of the music in this one.
Yeah, and I love Bob Dylan, and so the whole knocking on heaven's door thing.
Yeah,
I would know that, but again, you have Michael Kamen and also Eric Clapton involved in this. So I mean,
yep.
you have a lot of. And David Sanborn was involved in both movies, so you got some very good music people involved. Oh, and the Patsy Kensit, who is in has both musical and acting influences on this one.
Yeah. I love this. The movie was, going into the reception, was third most successful movie of 1989 in North America, after Batman and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
I don't know. In my opinion, it is better than Batman.
All right, but
Of Batman, but I would not put it ahead of Crusade. I don't know why.
You wouldn't put it ahead of Crusade, or you would?
I would put. I think I put Indiana Jones slightly ahead of it. They're both so awesome, but I think I would put Crusade just a tiny, just because Crusade is the best Indiana Jones movie, and in my opinion, Lethal Weapon 2 is not the best of the 4 Lethal Weapon movies. It's awesome, but I wouldn't put it as the number 1 Lethal Weapon movie.
Right.
So that's the only reason why I would put Crusade just barely above it.
Yeah, well, and again, the reception stuff, it's based on box office stuff. So,
right.
in 1989, Batman was the number 1 film.
Oh, yeah.
There's no argue. Anyone who wants to argue that with me, you can email me, tfgmike@gmail.com. There is no arguing the fact that Batman was the number 1 film of the last year of the 80s decade in 1989. There's no arguing that.
Right, but in retrospect, I would put both movies ahead of Batman.
Yeah.
Just because of the newer Batmans that are just way better than
well,
the
yeah,
Batmans.
Earning nearly $150 million domestically and $80.6 million overseas, the movie received mostly positive reviews, although not as many as the original. Generated an 82% from Rotten Tomatoes. Currently holds 82%, as I just said. Let's see. Despite being an overtly anti-apartheid film and being dismissed by the then South African Consul General in Los Angeles as an awful film, Lethal Weapon 2 was released uncut in South Africa and was a box office success, though greeted with amusement. Interesting. Let's see. Wow.
Next part's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I don't know why that is, but Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, and Richard Donner have all stated that this is their favorite film of the Lethal Weapon series.
I can see it in a way because for them as actors, there probably wasn't as much pressure on them as there was in the first one. So the first one for them might not have been as fun to make because they were still wanting it to be successful. They didn't know what the reception was going to be. They didn't know how people were going to view it. Whereas after the success of the first one, you can kind of have fun with the second one as actors. So I can see how maybe that was like their favorite one because maybe they felt a little less pressure on it.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing with 2. Mel wanted to take it. You couldn't have another film with Riggs being the suicidal person. I mean, yeah, it's still there, but he's, as I read in the first...
He's getting better.
He's getting better, and he gets better throughout all 4 films. And, he wanted to show his comedic side because I don't remember where I read it or heard about it. He loves he loved watching the Three Stooges, and he loved imitating the Three Stooges, especially Curly, when he goes, eeny, meeny, miny, hey, mo. And he uses the hey, mo line several times throughout the rest of the films. And I just think it's a much better way to go about your characters than just keeping them the same character. I mean, Roger is pretty much the same. He's got some growth.
But not as much as Riggs, obviously.
Not as much as Riggs. And again,
they're basically both growing in opposite ways, too. I mean, Riggs is becoming more stable, whereas Roger is becoming more loose and more, able to let his guard down.
Yeah.
So you have them basically both growing in opposite directions based on each other. They're both coming more towards the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There have been several home video releases, as I said before. It's pretty much the same for all 3 or all 4 films. There's been numerous releases, but they can all be found in box sets now. So,
and there is deleted scenes, obviously, for this one as well.
Yeah, and they're on the Lethal 4 DVD. Do you have any other thoughts you want to do on?
Just in my opinion, this one was maybe one of the more fun. Like for me, just like one crazy scene after another crazy scene, and it was just kind of more fun than the first one in a way, but I did like the first one better, but they're both spectacular movies. This one's still in my top 50 in the decade.
And now you're going to hear the trailer for Lethal Weapon 3.
I'm thinking we should cut the blue wire.
Hey, wait!
What?
That's not what I'm thinking.
What, do you think maybe the red?
No. I'm thinking that it's 8 minutes and 42 seconds. We can go upstairs, wait for the bomb squad, have a cappuccino.
I'm cutting the red wire, okay?
Hell, oh!
What?
A minute ago you said blue.
Nearly a catastrophe, huh? I'm cutting the wire. See? All done. Raj.
Yeah.
Grab the cat.
Grab the cat.
They're back. Lethal Weapon 3.
Hiya, Hubie. Hey, we're looking for a friend of yours named Travis.
Hell, I never heard of him.
Wrong answer.
Wait, I'll leave my car here and I'll come with you.
No, you're not coming with us.
Yes, I am. All right, I'll take my car then.
No, you're
yes,
not.
I am. I can't believe you did that. I got a spare in the trunk. I'll fix you. They're my partners. I can't believe they did that.
Yes, right. Three-man smile.
Freeze, police.
I want you to see something, Raj. She has a gift. What's this? Hey, you okay, honey?
I just ran.
Hey, Riggs, it's 5 of them, man.
Yeah, I know. My girl. I never made it with another sergeant before.
Shut up, Riggs. Hello, car 54, where are you?
The only thing they do contribute is mayhem and chaos.
No, I'm chaos and he's mayhem. You have the right to remain unconscious. Anything you say ain't gonna be much. Back to bed. Back to bed.
Alright, so now we've approached 1992 with Lethal Weapon 3, the buddy cop action comedy film directed by Richard Donner, starring Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Joe Pesci, Rene Russo, and Stuart Wilson. It is a sequel to Lethal Weapon 1 and 2, and is part of the Lethal Weapon film series. The movie is set in 1992, 6 years after Riggs and Murtaugh originally met, and the pair are joined by their companion of 3 years ago, Leo Getz, as well as beautiful but aggressive Internal Affairs Sergeant Lorna Cole, played by Russo. This time the villain is an intelligent but ruthless former LAPD Lieutenant Jack Edward Travis. When did you first see this one?
Like I said, I probably don't have the date completely consistent here, but I know I saw the first three right in a row. I didn't see any of them in the theater. I saw them all three in a row, I think, as rentals. So it had to be a little bit after this one. So I want to say I saw the first one in 92-ish, and I probably saw this one when it came out, in 93 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I say came out on like a rental version.
Yeah.
In 93.
I didn't see this one when it was first out. Obviously, I didn't see it in theaters, but I'm remembering that my mom was pretty lax in what she let me watch, because I remember seeing the first two films and then wanting to go see this because my mom and at the time her then boyfriend and my cousin Heather, who had just gotten out of the hospital over, I don't know, I think it was a car accident. I'm not sure what was going on with Heather, but she was in a wheelchair. Because I remember, because Mom always told me that they went to go see this and had to sit in the back of the theater with a wheelchair access, and I always wanted to see this film when I was that age when it came out. Obviously, I didn't. I think I saw it like 2 or 3 years later. So basically, the plot for this one starts with the happenstance busting of an armored car robbery leads LAPD Sergeants Martin Riggs and Roger Murtaugh to stumble upon an internal affairs investigation. A rogue AWOL cop, Jack Travis, is stealing weapons from impound and selling them on the black market. Riggs and Murtaugh must work with Internal Affairs Sergeant Lorna Cole to investigate. This is complicated when Murtaugh kills a friend of his son's, Daryl, after being fired at with a fully automated gun, a MAC-10, acquired through Travis. In addition, Travis is distributing armor-piercing bullets, or cop killers, placing the officers of the force in further peril. Murtaugh must get over the shock of killing his son's friend, and Riggs and Cole must learn to get along in order to put a stop to Travis's operation.
You know, I think they left it out, but this is the one that has. I'm a little rusty because I didn't just watch them. I'm relying on my 50 views in previous years, basically. But they left it out of the information. It does have the Christmas, or not the Christmas tree, but the. Doesn't this have the scene where they're in the back of a truck and isn't there like trees or Christmas trees, or is that a different one? Where Riggs is basically undercover or acting like he's undercover and trying to buy drugs from him, and then all of a sudden they like pull guns and there's a shooting involved.
No, that's the first one.
That is the first one. I don't know why.
That was in the first film when we first meet Riggs.
That's right.
He says, "Well, here, why don't you give me this for like 100?" And the guy says, I'll even throw in a tree for free. And so Riggs comes out and starts counting 20, 40, and the guy slams his
100,000.
No, that's 100,000. No.
I can't believe we forgot to talk about that.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, that's what that is.
Okay. Moving back to the third.
Yes. Oh God, that opening scene with the armored car chase. Oh God, the opening scenes for these. The opening scene for the first film was good. wasn't the best. It didn't drag you in, but again, as I've said in this episode of M-Wire, it was that thing where it was an origin movie. You had to set everything up. But Jesus Christ, these scenes in 2, 3, and 4, they just take you in, because holy crap, they get busted down to patrol. They catch a guy for jaywalking. And they start going back and forth, and eventually Riggs they make a joke about Riggs shooting everybody, or every criminal that he catches, and that's just hilarious. And then all of a sudden, Riggs sees this armored car deal going down, and they end up on that, and oh jeez, and then poor Roger. He's got Dolores after him. Dolores is this, let's say, pleasingly plump black woman who is driving the armored car to catch up with the armored car that Riggs is hanging off of. Right. And eventually Riggs gets in the armored car and he moves over the guy to the passenger seat. And why this strikes me as odd, but Riggs actually puts his seatbelt on. And the next thing we know, he's slamming on the brakes, and the other guy goes head first through the windshield. And I love the line. I wrote it down. Where is it? You have the right to remain unconscious. Anything you say ain't gonna be much.
It's another great line.
Yeah.
There's just so many good one-liners in all the films, so that's just another example of that. We've lost you.
Lost me? No, I'm still here. I'm just something. What the hell happened? I don't know.
You went unconscious, and you ain't gonna say much.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Basically, just getting back to the plot a little. Subplot of the film, obviously, is Murtaugh's impending retirement. Which we kind of mentioned when we were talking about the first one a little bit. The film begins 8 days before he is to retire. and basically ends on the intended day of his retirement. So that's going on in the backdrop of this whole thing. And Leo Getz, Joe Pesci, who has gone straight, is now a real estate salesman and is helping sell Murtaugh's house. He also provides some assistance in the Travis investigation, since Travis's legitimate cover operation is an under construction ex-urban housing development. And as he helps Murtaugh get over killing Daryl, Riggs airs out his own frustrations over the impending end of their partnership. So this whole, the end of their partnership and Murtaugh retiring is basically a major plot device in this film.
Yes.
More so than it has been in any of the other
ones. Oh,
ones.
yeah. Yeah, it puts it all out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And basically that kind of goes into something that I know you have as one of your notes. This film, I know the first film had a lot of character development because it's introducing you to all the character development, but it kind of goes without saying that it's going to be in the first one.
Yeah.
Other than that, this one probably has the most character development out of the four, out of the second, third, and fourth. They spent a lot of time developing the relationships between the characters, and you might even say that this one is, I wouldn't necessarily call it the slowest of the four, but spends more time on dialogue between the main characters than any of the other ones.
Yeah, and you have probably one of the more ingenious love scenes I have ever seen in an actual rated R film, comparing bullet wounds.
Yeah. Rene Russo and Mel Gibson comparing bullet wounds. And of course it also has this theme of brings in another girl into the relationship with Mel Gibson, which if you've been a fan of the film, you have to expect then that something bad is going to happen to her, so that kind of adds to the suspense of this film.
Oh yeah.
Is you're expecting something bad to happen to her, because first we had the wife, then we had the South African chick in the second one, and now you have the cop. So.
But the thing is, she can take care of herself. She can kick ass.
Right. Obviously, and that's another awesome thing about this is, back in this time period, you didn't have a lot of instances in action movies where, obviously since then we have with Kill Bill and all these other different movies, but this to the time, you didn't see a lot of female kick-ass scenes back in the 80s action. I know this is not early 90s action movies, so it's kind of a unique thing.
So ultimately Riggs and Lorna fall in love, and they and Murtaugh find the link between Daryl's gun and Travis. They get together to bust Travis at his desert housing development. They light the development on fire, which, I'll bring that up in a minute. I gotta wait on my last note for that. Light development on fire, and though Cole is wounded, Riggs ultimately kills Travis using Daryl's gun and Travis's own cop killer bullets. In the end, Murtaugh decides not to retire after all, preserving his partnership with Riggs. Let's talk about Riggs' bad habits.
He's got a few.
Well, first of all, smoking. Yeah. And then he's got a dog biscuit problem. And at the end of the film, he has to have a cigarette to get over his dog biscuit problem. But in the scene where they're at the desert housing development, I never understood why he did this. It looks just like some sort of gasoline pump. Why would you rip the hose off, put it in your mouth, and spit it out? And he goes, pooey, Exxon.
Yeah, that was disgusting.
When he did that, I laughed so hard earlier today. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Oh, that's... Oh, jeez. And poor... As much as I really didn't care for Leo in any of these... The fourth film, I can kind of stomach him a little bit better, because he's a little bit more funnier, but... The 2 and 3, I really didn't care for Leo whatsoever. Joe Pesci aside, I just didn't care for the character.
See, I love Leo. I love all the other characters more, but I still love Leo.
I'll take my car then. No, you're not. Yes, I am. Bang. I got a spare in the trunk. Bang. How could you do that?
The reason I like Leo is because it provided an opportunity for Riggs and Murtaugh to actually show some camaraderie and cohesiveness in picking on and pulling the pranks on someone else. Because before it was always either Murtaugh playing off of Riggs or vice versa. Usually Riggs playing off of Murtaugh. And this time, introducing this Leo character got them the opportunity to team up against somebody else. And I kind of like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I completely agree on that one. Let's see here. For the promotion of the film, theater lobbies featured a 3D cutout of the movie poster of Riggs and Murtaugh posing with their guns, and Leo gets peeking from the background. On the display, there was a motor which helped Leo's head bob up and down from behind them.
Pretty good.
Currently holds a 59% approval on Rotten Tomatoes. The reaction: the $35 million movie was a big box office success, earning $145 million, although slightly less from the $150 million domestic gross of the first sequel. It was nevertheless the second most successful summer movie, of 1992 after Batman Returns. Oh, damn it! It didn't beat Batman. Damn it! Shit. And the fifth most profitable film of the year, as well as the highest grossing in the series worldwide, with $320 million worldwide. Wow. The movie...
I'm surprised at that.
You are?
Yeah, I'm very surprised that it's out of all four of them, it made the most.
What?
Worldwide. To me, it's the worst of the four. I think they're all four fantastic, but for me, out of the four, this is the lowest.
No, I love this one.
I love all three of them. I love all four of them, but I think 1, 2, and 4 are leagues above this one.
No.
In my opinion.
No. You're wrong. Just go with it.
My opinion. You can't be wrong. Can't be wrong with an opinion. 1's the best,
no.
And 2 is second best, 4 is third best, and 3 is fourth best.
The movie featured songs "It's Probably Me" performed by Sting and "Runaway Train" performed by Elton John and Eric Clapton. Home video releases, we've been over that. There's a video game for this one. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Several versions of a Lethal Weapon video game were released in conjunction with this sequel's release, appearing on the NES, SNES, Game Boy, Amiga, Atari ST, and Commodore 64 platform. Also released was Lethal Weapon 3 Pinball.
I can't believe this was on the Super Nintendo.
Huh?
I can't believe there was a game for the Super Nintendo. I should have known that.
Yeah, you should have. See? I like this one for a lot of the comedy bits. I like the fact that they added Rene Russo to the mix, because each film they're adding characters. Like they added Leo in the second one, they bring him back in this one, but yet they add Russo. I like in this one how they actually did something with Murphy, the captain. Yeah. You know, instead of just having him in the police station at his desk the whole time that all this shit's going on. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like the fact that that's the whole point of this one. You have a rogue cop in Jack Travis being the villain, and you have him able to get access to all this other stuff. And he's like, when he goes into the kill the suspect, he's like, "Hi, Billy. Bye, Billy." And the desk sergeant or whatever the hell it was, when he goes out, he goes, "Did you find what you're looking for?" "Nah, it's kind of a dead issue." And I'm thinking, these are cops. They should know.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
To me, I don't know. To me, just kind of my final thoughts on this one. Well, first of all, you said the introduction of all the characters. I do like how they introduced a new character in each one, although I will say that Rene Russo was my least favorite of all the main Lethal Weapon characters.
Why?
Just because I'm not a big Rene Russo fan. I think she did fantastic, and it was good, but I like Chris Rock and Joe Pesci a little bit better. But I'm just saying, I can't say anything bad about any of the four of these films. These are four of my favorite films of all time. But like I said before, this is, if I had to rank them in order, this would be my least favorite out of the four movies.
This and 4 are like 1 and 2 for me. I don't know which is 1 and which is 2, but 3 and 4.
I'm the opposite.
Huh?
1 and 2 are by far my favorites.
No.
I love 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 are just good because they're Lethal Weapon films, but not as good as 1 and 2.
Anyways, next you will hear the trailer for Lethal Weapon 4.
I just bounced right off, and we're in trouble, man! Here's what we're gonna do. Take your clothes off. What the hell for? Lambo here turns, sees you in your undies, it distracts him, and that's when I shoot. Shoot what? The valve of that napalm tank. Hey, you gonna hit that little bitty valve before he shoots me? I don't know, maybe. Well, maybe. Have I ever given you a bump steer? Come on, Raj, trust me. Trust you? Come on, show him what you got. Show him what you're not. Hey, man, no. Are those little hearts? Hey, just hit the damn valve. Okay, keep your damn shirt on. Also, flap your arms and make noises like a bird. And flap my arms and make noises. Why? Here he comes. Get going. I don't want to die in my underwear, Riggs. Hey, Riggs, what are you waiting for? Shoot him. Shoot him. Let's get out of here. Hey, Riggs. Hey, you think that bird thing helped? No, I just wanted to see if you'd do it. Cute shorts, son.
This is one of the most painful experiences in my life. They're promoting you.
Captain Riggs. Captain Murtaugh.
Better reload. Think you can stay off the streets and out of trouble?
Yeah, absolutely.
And take aim. Because your number is up.
What happened?
Had some bad Chinese. We never talked about marriage.
You want to get married?
You got the right to remain silent. You got the right to get an attorney. If you get Johnny Cochran, I'll kill you. How you doing? I'm Mel Gibson. Yeah, I look a little different, but it's the same old Mel.
And finally up today is Lethal Weapon 4, which is a 1998 action comedy film directed by Richard Donner and starring Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Joe Pesci, Rene Russo, Chris Rock, and Jet Li. It is the third sequel in the Lethal Weapon series of films. When did you first see this one?
I saw this one in theaters.
Did you really?
Yes, I did. I was in high school, and me and one of my friends were just huge into Lethal Weapon. After I'd seen them now, probably about 5 years before I'd seen them all on, rental or whatever, and I loved them. And we had watched them multiple times since then, so me and him went and saw this in high school together, and I was definitely looking forward to it. And at the time, Chris Rock was one of the most famous comedians out there. Not up and comer, but he was kind of the thing right then. And so we were like, oh, this is kind of an interesting combination. So we saw this in theater, and I was not disappointed. I will say though, since we're going to be getting into the plot in a second, though, to me this is and it doesn't really matter in Lethal Weapon. The plot is kind of inconsequential in the Lethal Weapon films for the most part. Like, I could care less what the plot is. This is the most far out plot out of all four movies.
Really?
The second one was kind of far out with the whole South African thing, but this one with the Chinese slave laborers and being in a dinghy and all this other stuff, and I mean, this one, the plot is way out there for me.
See,
it still works and it's good, but it's just like, who was thinking of this stuff?
Well,
the first one and the third one are typical cop stories. The first one is you have a typical, you have this suicide that's not a suicide, it's a drug deal. You have your bad guys, drug dealers, whatever. That's like prototypical cop action movie. Your third one, similar. They kind of bring in the whole new thing because it's a cop that's gone bad, and you have the armor-piercing bullets and whatnot. Still kind of a cop movie. The second and the fourth one, you bring in these, like, the first one, someone had the idea, let's bring in a bunch of South Africans and have it like a diplomatic immunity and stuff, which is a clever idea, but it's just kind of out there for a cop movie at the time. And this one, bringing in the whole Chinese angle, it just seemed like it was a weird thing at the time. I mean, they all worked, and I love them all. It just seems like those two were not your traditional cop plots.
Holy crap.
What?
I'm looking at the DVD here. And I'm looking at the little credits that they always put on the back of DVDs as far as, like, how you have the credits, like on a movie trailer, like really, really small lettering. And I'm looking at these. You have Alfred Goff and Miles Millar have credits in this film. Really? The guys that started Smallville.
Interesting.
But the reason why I got the DVD out to look for it is because on the commentary for this film, there is and it just credits Donner on here, but on the actual DVD, it's like Donner, one other person, and Jeff Johns, of all people. And I'm assuming it's the famous comic writer Jeff Johns. So that could be why you have a strange...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they're bad
strange
plots. I'm saying it just seems strange.
And I think that the plot for this one fits it, because you have Riggs and Murtaugh, getting into their usual pre-movie situation. This time with a guy with a flamethrower playing Van Halen music.
That's it.
I love that song. I actually downloaded that song from iTunes just because of this movie. But you have them, and this one it's something different than all the other previous films. They're each hiding something from one another. The fact that Danny's going to be, or not Danny, Roger is going to be a grandfather, and Riggs is going to be a father.
Right.
And it gives...
that was a good thing. Like I said, that's awesome. That's a great plot device. It's something we haven't seen as far as their relationships to go together. So, I agree with you on that.
Yeah. So, getting into the plot here, Lorna Cole is pregnant with LAPD Sergeant Martin Riggs' baby. They are not married, but both are thinking about it and have concerns. Police Sergeant Roger Murtaugh's daughter, Rianne, is also pregnant, and as Riggs later learns from Lorna, she has secretly married Lee Butters, played by Chris Rock, a young detective who works at the same precinct as Murtaugh and Riggs. Secretly, because Roger has made it clear that his daughter should not marry a police officer. Riggs and Murtaugh and Butters, with some assistance from Leo Getz, who is now a private detective, investigate a Chinese immigrant smuggling ring after they come across a vessel with cargo hold of Chinese slave laborers.
That's the part that's weird too.
In the course of the events, Roger's boat is sunk. Murtaugh finds a dinghy alongside with Chinese family whom he provides shelter for at his house, claiming to be freeing slaves. Now, I can see Murtaugh's point.
It's just hilarious, though, that who sat down and wrote for this movie and said, "I know we're gonna have Chinese slave laborers living at Murtaugh's house," and then someone else was like, "Yes, that's a great idea."
But the whole boat scene, oh Jesus, oh God, I love
this movie. Could have been very bad for as far as being making comments about different races if it wanted to.
Well. All right, that's true, but put that aside, okay? Put that aside for a second. Yeah. I absolutely love the boat scene because, again, it goes back to the two of them, the character development. Well, I mean, really, if you want to look at it, the three of them, but I mean, the two of them, Murtaugh and Riggs, it goes back to their character development because they're having a talk while they send Leo off to find something to subdue the shark that he caught with, which... God, catching a fucking shark. Oh my God. And then Leo comes back up and he's like, "You did say aft, right? AFT. And that's a fucking word, right? aft, on the bottom of the boat on the right side, or the back of the boat on the right side. Why didn't you say that? I hate all you people coming on, as soon as you get on water, everything's fucking nautical."
Yeah.
I love Pesci in that scene, and this is what I was saying earlier about Lethal Weapon 3. I didn't care for him in 2 or 3. I like Pesci in this because Pesci also gets character development, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But Riggs is like, do you want Leo to shoot the shark? Do I want Leo to shoot? No, I don't want Leo to shoot the shark. You put a hole in my boat. And then you have this giant freighter coming next to them, which actually rams the side of their boat. I don't know how smart it was for Murtaugh to get on the radio, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the people in the freighter found out. And again, it just goes to show you how good a shot Riggs is. I mean, on the water, in the middle of the night, with a searchlight on you. And he still hit those guys, plus he took out the searchlight.
He's great.
Yeah. Excellent shot. It's just hilarious. And I love his gun in this movie with the laser sight. Oh, God. That was so fucking hilarious. He ducks down, uses the laser sight to find the guy's ass, shoots him in the ass. The guy jumps up and he shoots him twice in the chest and kills him.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's just so fucking awesome. Just is.
It is.
So, let's see here. Information about a crime boss named Benny Chan, a.k.a. Uncle Benny, leads them to Chinatown, where they are introduced to a high-ranking triad negotiator named Wah Sing Koo, played by Jet Li. And I think this is the first film I ever saw Jet Li in.
Yeah. This was the first time I really became, aware of him.
Yep. Benny forces the three cops out of the restaurant without providing information on what his and the other triad's plans are. Outside, the cops encounter the captain of the ship and chase him and another suspect. The other suspect turns out to be a restaurant waiter and is freed. Koo later kills the captain for letting the cops know about their secret plans. And we need to mention the the way they exited.
Yeah.
Break the mirror. Oh, one thing we're glossing over here is the department has lost its insurance carrier. They can't fire Riggs and Murtaugh, so they're promoting them. And they're like, oh, lieutenant, but there's no open lieutenant spot, so the chief is using a special privilege, and he's making you captains. And it's like all this captain, my captain bullshit and everything else. That's just hilarious.
Right. Yeah, that's a good touch.
And, in Riggs' defense, he does. I think it was before this whole scene where they go to the restaurant. But one thing we've kind of glossed over the other three films is the scenes with Stephanie. What's her name? The doctor chick. The psychologist.
Yeah. There's always this psychologist that's trying to get to the bottom of what's and get Riggs fired, basically.
Yeah, and in this one, he comes to her with a problem that's very serious. And she just thinks because he's joked around with her in the past before that it's some sort of ploy to get a rise out of her. And I just love Riggs' comeback. He's like, Stephanie, I can't go out with you. I'm in a committed relationship. I'm sure you'll find someone to love you someday. Not in this department, but someday. And she's like, what is wrong with all of you? So, getting back to the plot here.
This is basically where, Riggs and Murtaugh hire Leo.
Oh, God.
To follow Benny around. But after Hong, the father of the Chinese family Murtaugh rescued, contacts his uncle, they come home to find Koo and his men holding Lorna and Murtaugh's family hostage, and that Hong and his family are taken away. Basically, after a brief fight, the house is set on fire, with everyone tied up inside. Ping, one of the Hong children, however, frees them, having eluded captivity. Murtaugh and Riggs chase down two of the triad members down a freeway, but both men are killed in collision with a traffic without giving any information on the Hong's whereabouts. So it's always at Murtaugh's house. So
yeah, that poor house, man. I mean, that house has been through what had happened in I know something. Oh, the toilet.
You have the toilet blowing up and the house on fire, and
No, there was a car that ran. They ran a car into it in the first film.
And then there was a fight outside.
Well, the fight outside, yeah, but I mean that was the whole thing about the car in the front window at the end of the first movie. Then you have the toilet in the second one. Mm-hmm. What was in the third one that happened?
I don't remember anything happening in the third one.
Oh, Leo kept trying to sell it. That's really what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, so it wasn't necessarily destroyed.
Yeah.
But this time it is.
Yeah, pretty much. It pretty much is, unfortunately. I wrote down, I said before we get to them hiring Leo, I put this on Twitter. I put it line for line because I love it so much. Leo Getz, private investigator. This is right before this. He and Chris Rock are going back and forth about cell phones. And he goes, Leo Getz, private investigator. Yes, Mr. Getz, I'd like you to investigate my privates. Yo, what? My privates, you stupid shit. Shut the fuck up. I love as much as I'm not really a fan of television edits, I love the edit on this movie because in the edit, when they edit Riggs' line of stupid shit, they go same line, but they go he goes, "My privates, you stupid simp."
Oh my.
And then the rest of the line is, "You're pretty tough when you're on the telephone, aren't you?" "Yeah, that's right, telephone tough guy. Why am I talking to you on the phone? Get out of here, Leo."
Yeah. Some great comedic scenes with Chris Rock and Joe Pesci going in this movie.
Yeah, like when he was when Leo was tailing them at first. Oh my god. He's like, "Riggs, who's the perp?" "Oh, you see a black guy in the back of a police car, you automatically think I'm a perp? Look at the suit. Look at the tie. Look at the badge, bitch. Look at the gun." Oh god.
Getting back to the plot a little bit, Ku and the other men visit a Chinese-based holding cell being run by a corrupt Chinese general who is holding 4 triad overlords known as the Four Fathers, one of whom is Ku's brother, and basically demanding a huge payoff from the triads for their release. After Riggs and Murtaugh return to Murtaugh's home, Leo informs them and Butters that Benny is seeing his dentist, and using Leo to distract the dentist, the 3 cops use nitrous oxide to extract information from Benny. Riggs inadvertently reveals that Butters is Rianne's husband and the father of her baby because they had accidentally exposed themselves to the laughing gas as well. They misunderstood the information Benny provided them, which initially leads to some complications in their investigation. This scene is awesome.
Yeah.
They're all basically got laughing gas. Benny is Uncle Benny is hilarious. And then it just gets completely out of control.
"I'm sleeping with my wife's 2 sisters. "Oh, that's good, Uncle Benny. Not so good when my wife find out."
Yeah, it's just one thing after another, and it's just hilarious.
Yeah. That guy, what's his name? Damn it. Where is it? The guy that plays Uncle Benny.
Kim Chan.
Kim Chan. He is, I'm not sure if he's still alive, but he was an amazing actor. The next time I saw him after this film was in 1999's Now and Again on CBS. It was a series with Dennis Haysbert and Eric Close. It only had a short, limited run, and it's never been released on DVD, unfortunately. But Kim Chan played the villain of like the first, like the 2-part plot pilot opener, and just wow, it was just amazing. So yeah, let's see here. Ku brings the Hongs to the Triads' hideout, where it is revealed that the Triads plan to give the corrupt general counterfeit Chinese money for the forefathers. The captive artist working on the printing plates is the elder uncle to Hong and agreed to do the job in exchange for his family's safe passage to the United States. Ku kills Hong in order to secure his uncle's cooperation. With the printing plates completed, he and Benny are also killed for exposing the operation to protect the forgery. Detective Ning, I thought it was Ang, I don't know, who is familiar with Chinese society, corrects Murtaugh and the other officers on the information Benny provided earlier and explains why the Triads torched Murtaugh's home. After Riggs picks up Ping and Lorna, the officers locate the hideout and only that the dead men and some of the counterfeit Chinese money inside. Ang once again helps them piece the entire operation together. At the meeting between Ku and the corrupt general, Riggs, Murtaugh, Butters, and other detectives expose the counterfeit money. As a result, the general kills 3 of the forefathers. Ku's henchmen kill the general, and the firefight breaks out between the cops and the Triads and the general's private army. Butters is shot in the back while protecting Murtaugh, and Murtaugh kills Ku's brother while aiming for Ku. In revenge, Ku starts a major fight with Riggs and Murtaugh. On the pier, Murtaugh is knocked out after impaling Ku on a piece of rebar, While Riggs and Koo fall into the water when the pier collapses, Riggs struggles with Koo underwater, shoots him to death with an AK-47, but a slab of concrete from the pier falls in and pins Riggs underwater until Murtaugh wakes up, jumps in, and saves him. Wow. It's a lot of plot to go through there, but I'm sorry. If somebody stabs you with a pipe of rebar through and through, you're dead. You're fucking dead. Yeah, first of all, that's first of all. Second of all, firing an AK-47 underwater? Really?
Yeah, sure. Bullets go underwater.
I love this movie, but I'm just doing like little nitpicking things here about it, but I thought that the guy should have been dead with the rebar. It's stuck like right through his front and it comes right out his back. He should be dead.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. Honestly, it's stuff like that kind of knocks the fourth movie down a little bit, but then I think the comedic parts of Joe Pesci and Chris Rock bring it back up. So I can get past that.
Yeah. So after hearing nothing about it in the third film, Riggs visits his dead wife's grave and asks her for advice about his impending marriage with Lorna, about which he still doubts. He is interrupted by the arrival of Leo, who tells a story from his childhood that makes Riggs see the idea of remarrying in a new light. Riggs' pager goes off, indicating that Lorna is giving birth, and the two rush to the hospital. Riggs and Lorna are ceremonially married by a rabbi just before their and Rianne's babies are born. Murtaugh accepts Butters as his son-in-law, and Hong's family is granted asylum.
Isn't that a nice way to cleanly tidy up everything at the end?
Now, the ending here, oh god. Why does it smell like pee? I was on my way to the bathroom when she grabbed me.
Yeah.
Leo, find a priest, find somebody. Here's Rabbi Tuckman, or whatever the hell the rabbi's name was. I don't even remember. A rabbi. Anything. You just said anything. And then the rabbi starts going to do it in Jewish and everything else, and there's like this half-assed thing of, Riggs to you, Lorna to you, and blah, 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 blah. And then Pesci runs over to this old black guy and takes the urine sample from him. You bastard, come back here. It took me an hour to fill that up.
Yeah.
You gotta do this. Just crush the thing. Oh, fine. You asshole, get back here. That poor black guy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then the end. I love the end because you have pretty much everybody there except the Aang character. The captain comes in with gift bags. You got pretty much the entire Murtaugh family. You got Pesci, and you got Riggs and Lorna. I think Ping is there too, isn't there? No, maybe he's not. I don't think Ping was there. I don't remember
for sure.
But it's pretty much the whole cast over the 4 films. And they pass the camera on to the doctor, and he goes, "Are you all friends?" "No, we're family." And then the picture snaps and the movie ends.
Right.
Oh man, the only real note that I had for this one, which makes I don't know, maybe it was alcohol, I'm not sure, but my note was, wait a damn minute, in the scene where the bad guys set Roger's house on fire, one of the henchmen drinks from either a bottle of water or alcohol, and then sprays it everywhere like it's gasoline. What the fuck? So,
it was alcohol.
I was gonna say, I'm assuming it was alcohol, because I seriously doubt they would drink a bottle of gasoline. I don't even think they make bottles of gasoline, but yeah.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Definitely the biggest cast out of all the movies.
Oh, yeah.
But getting into the reaction, basically, although the film grossed $130 million domestically, it was not considered a runaway financial success as the previous 3 films have been. Basically, it almost cost as much to make as it grossed, which was the kind of a first for the Lethal Weapon movies. This made the fourth movie the most expensive entry of the Lethal Weapon franchise. Its profit margin was saved in part due to the combined foreign box office sales, making the film gross approximately $285 million worldwide. Still, like its predecessors, Lethal Weapon 4 was among the top 10 grossing movies of its release year. Critical reaction to Lethal Weapon 4 was mixed. I agree with Rotten Tomatoes. It holds a 52% Rotten Tomatoes. The third one and the fourth one were both in the 50s for Rotten Tomatoes, which actually is a very good teller of what movies are good and what movies aren't. It's way better than Roger Ebert or IMDb or IGN or anything like that. But the fourth and the third one both were in the 50%. The second one was an 82, and the first one was like a 90%. So it agrees with me. The first two were the best two. James Berardinelli gave the film 3 stars out of 4, writing, given the expectations that constrain it, Lethal Weapon 4 is probably the best motion picture that could possibly result from another teaming of Riggs and Murtaugh. The series has lost a lot of steam since the first 2 entries, and although the fourth movie ratchets up the energy level from the morebound state of the disappointing Lethal Weapon 3, there's no sense of spontaneity. And Roger Ebert gave Lethal Weapon 4 2 stars out of 4, writing, Lethal Weapon 4 has all the technical skill of the first 3 movies in the series, but lacks the secret weapon, which is conviction.
See, I disagree with that, because this film gives you continuity of the entire rest of the series. Riggs is still having trouble as far as settling down, but his life is settled. He's not suicidal. He has friends in Murtaugh and his family. I mean, he even says that in this film. I think the Murtaughs are his family, much like Pesci is, a best friend to him as well. So, I don't care what anybody says. Lethal Weapon 4, say what you want about the Chinese smuggling part of it. The other aspects with the characters that we've seen over the last 3 films, it fits in with the last 3 films.
It fits in. I agree that it fits in, but I also agree with them to the point where it just seems to be missing that special something that the first couple had. I think it all fits in. I think all 4 of them are great. I really can't say technically that I don't think anything bad about any of them. But if we're comparing one film from the other, to me the first 2 just had something special about them. And I think what it is if I know you can't do this with movies that are so connected to each other, but if you were to take each one and pretend that it was made standalone by itself without any of the other ones ever being made, the first one would have been successful even if nothing came after it, obviously. I think the second one even could have stood alone as a great movie without the first or the last 2. I don't think if it was just the third one or if it was just the fourth one, it would have been just your typical action movie without that special something that makes the Lethal Weapon 4 movies so great. And that's to me, I think the first 2 are more standalone great movies, whereas the third and fourth one, you have to have the first 2 in order for them to be good.
Well, yeah, and then
in my opinion.
Well, yeah, and I somewhat agree, but I mean that's the whole point of having a film franchise.
Oh, right.
I can't look at these films. I can't look at most films that are in a film series as individual films. I mean, that's like trying to look at More Than Meets the Eye parts 1, 2, and 3 as separate non-continuity episodes of Transformers.
See, for some reason I like to do that. I like to compare the different ones and rate them. I do it for Star Wars. I do it for Back to the Future, for Jurassic Park, for Die Hard, for Lord of the Rings, for all of them. Yeah. I think I don't know. I like viewing each one as its own thing and saying, if it was just this, how good would it have been?
So, getting into the sequel here, there's been talk of a 5th Lethal Weapon film, although both Mel Gibson and Danny Glover have expressed disinterest. In 2007, MovieHole.net received word from sources that Warner Brothers are in the early stages of trying to relaunch the Lethal Weapon series sometime in 2009 or later. A spec script treatment has been written by Shane Black, leading to rumors that the sequel was on fast track by Warner Brothers, with Black in the director's chair. Actor Columbus Short said that he was being considered for the role of Murtaugh's son. Director Richard Donner is not involved with these plans, but he has his own ideas for Lethal Weapon 5. According to the LA Times, Gibson has refused to reprise his role as Martin Riggs for the 5th time, which Donner thinks is out of personal loyalty because Donner is not involved. Joel Silver later confirmed that Gibson's lack of interest in the project. We talked about it, but it was something that Mel didn't want to do now. He explained it doesn't mean that he doesn't want to do it ever, but as of right now, he just doesn't. On Australian website What's Playing, an insider said they're talking again. Mel probably needs Joel, not to mention Lethal Weapon now more than ever, so I wouldn't at all be surprised if it comes off this time, and it could be a good movie that's a mighty big brand name, and it probably would help Gibson professionally speaking. Me personally, I think I'm not a fan of remakes if you're going to use different actors than the original. And I know that's the whole point of a remake, is to try to update it. I hope to God they don't remake this. I think that the fourth film ties everything up nice and neat in a little bow, and it doesn't leave anything open-ended. You have Riggs, Lorna, and their kid. You have Rhiannon Butters and their kid. You have Roger and Trish, and their other two kids that are in college. Nick and what the hell's the little girl's name?
Whatever it was.
I don't remember.
I guess I agree and disagree with that. I agree because I think there's too many chances that it would be done wrong.
Yeah.
Number two, it cannot be made without Mel Gibson. There is no Lethal Weapon without Mel Gibson.
There's no Lethal Weapon without either one of them.
Well, I know, but especially Mel Gibson.
Yeah, but I mean the whole
replace him.
Yeah, I guess, but the whole point is you have to have
the two of them.
The Mel Gibson, Danny Glover touch.
Oh yeah, there's only one condition that I would probably buy into a fifth movie, and that is, as bad as this sounds, it has to involve Glover and Gibson, but it also has to go back to the roots, and Mel Gibson's now wife would have to die in the movie.
No.
Yep, she would have to die. You had his first wife die. You had the girlfriend in the second one. You went away from that in the third and the fourth one. You have to get back to the roots. You have to have something traumatic happen to one of the family members. And to me, the obvious choice is Rene Russo.
No,
and then
you're only saying that because you don't like Rene Russo.
No, I'm not. I like Rene Russo in this movie. I'm not a big fan of hers overall. I like her character in this movie. But it has to go back to having some type of traumatic event happen to one of the families, and I think that's the most easy choice, is having her die. And that
they would never do that.
I would love it if they did, because then you'd have Mel Gibson and his kid, and he could bond with that. But you have to go back to the roots.
No.
Yep, I would be a fan if that's what they were going to do.
No.
Otherwise,
I don't think a fifth one or a remake or anything of that should be made. Just like I don't think a fourth.
It's too fairy tale to leave it as everybody's happily ever after. I hate that.
But
I kind of hate the way that it tied everything up in a bow and ended.
See, I like it because it gives you closure.
It does, but it's too not real. That's not what.
Well, movies aren't real, dude. I mean, come on, cartoons aren't real. That's the whole point. It takes you out of reality.
That's not how life goes. I don't want it to be a happy ending. I'm a fan of realistic endings. Kill somebody, have it end not so happy.
The Geekcast Radio Network and Movie Week in Review are not responsible for Kevin Thompson's
even though most people agree with
opinions on this podcast. But seriously though, if you look and like I read off earlier about the themes of the different movies, if you look at these from 1 to 4, you have Mel at his worst, and gradually you have him getting better, and you have both of them growing, as I've said throughout this entire episode. And by the fourth film, he's content. They're still going to be cops. I'm sure they'll still have adventures, but there's.
But that's my point.
I forgot how much time went between the third and the fourth film. I thought 4 was made like 95, 96. I forgot there was 6 years between 3 and 4. So
That's what I'm saying, though, is that the overall themes that have been going through these 4 are finished. They've been completed. So if you're going to do a remake, you have to break that up somehow. You can't keep going stale if you keep going with... He can't get more stable than he is right now.
Oh, God.
And it would...
It
would be so boring to listen to have him be a stable cop now, which is what he was becoming at the end of the 4th.
You know what I just thought of if they're going to remake this?
I don't want to know.
Have their son and Rhiannon and Chris's daughter be a married cop couple.
You know, you could have that too, but you have to have something that throws off the norm. Either one of the kids has to be, you know, turn bad or be involved in some type of underhand like dealings where it kind of pits the dad somehow against their own kid, or you have to have one of the family members in trouble or die. You have to have something that breaks it up, because otherwise it's there's nowhere to go with this. They're all fine at the end of the fourth one.
And that's why I like it. They're all fine. It leaves the film series off on a good note.
That's what I'm saying. If it ends there, I'm fine with that. But if you're going to do a new one, you have to shake it up.
Yeah. And I kind of agree with that, but see, that's the thing. I don't want them to do a new one. Just like I don't want their...
Right. No, then I'm with you. I agree with you. Then if you don't want it, to, you know, it either ends, which is fine. Everything's tied up and good, which I agree with you. But if you're going to do one, that's the only way I'll accept it, is if you shake it up.
There are 3 film franchises right now that I do not want to see a 4th or a 5th film. This, I don't want to see a Lethal Weapon 5. Back to the Future 4, I never want to see that. And what was the other one? Beverly Hills Cop 4. Never. Never.
I agree with you on 2 of them. I don't want to see another Lethal Weapon, and I don't want to see another Beverly Hills Cop. I would be fine. I take that back. I don't want to see another Back to the Future only because you couldn't have Michael J. Fox in it.
Well, yeah, but still.
If you could,
and it also goes to whatever these actors, especially Gibson. I mean, honestly, seriously, do you think with what Gibson's been done in the last 10 years that he's going to come back to this character? I seriously doubt it.
I think he could, though.
I don't know.
I think he could. I think it's like riding a bike for him. This is one of the easiest roles for him to play because it's so natural for him. He is kind of crazy, and you know, so I think he could snap back into it. But I don't know if he'd be willing to do that.
Yeah, I don't think he would either.
Unless he gets desperate, and then it might not be good.
Yeah. So I think up next you're going to hear some scenes maybe from all 4 films. There are so many good comedy bits in these movies. I'm not sure what I'm going to have Steve put into these, so we will be back after this.
Son of a bitch.
You think I'm crazy?
Yeah.
Are you calling me crazy? You think I'm crazy? Yeah, you want to see crazy? I'll tell you. Now, that's a real badge. I'm a real cop, and this is a real fucking gun.
Get the fuck out!
I'm too old for this shit.
Fucked and fucked.
The fucked.
Hey, what the fuck bullshit? Shut up!
I'm too old for this shit.
Fucking son of a bitch!
You're doing 65 now.
65? Oh, shit! Get your goddamn foot off the hell! You're killing my goddamn foot! Move on! Get off the motherfucker!
God damn it, you were right, you know. Yeah, there wasn't enough room.
Crazy motherfucker who don't give a fuck. Fuck.
Son of a bitch, fuck!
Could you please shut the fuck up?
And you guys are supposed to take care of me.
Shut up!
Goddamn.
I don't give a fuck.
They fucked you at the drive-thru, okay? They fucked you at the drive-thru. Fuck. Who gets fucked? Oh, Leo gets. Okay, sure. I don't give a fuck. I'm not eating this tuna, okay?
Shut up!
Fucked.
One man, one vote?
One man, one vote.
Free South Africa, you dumb son of a bitch!
You dumb son of a bitch.
Fuck you.
Drop an asshole!
You son of a bitch.
Riggs, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
That's right.
Oh, shit.
Oops. Right. Oops.
Shut up.
Son of a bitch. Thank you, Leo.
Yeah, shit.
Bullshit right now.
Fucking
Asshole.
Son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. Are you stupid motherfuckers on?
Looking for a friend of yours named Travis.
Hell, I never heard of him.
Wrong answer.
fuck off. Fuck you.
Jack shit.
Fucking. Oh, that's great, thanks. Well, you know what I say? They fuck you in the hospital. First they drug you, then they fuck you. And when they're done fucking you, along comes the insurance company and fucks you some more. $10 for a fucking aspirin. It's not even covered.
Okay, you motherfucker! Oh, shit!
Holy shit.
Fucking pump your fucking ass.
All right, Leo.
Ah, shit.
Shit, fucking goddamn. Look at my suit. Look at my tie. What do I look like, the fucking Crips accountant? Look at this badge, bitch. Check out the gun.
Okay, hey, okay, put the gun down.
License, registration, urine sample.
Hey, I got a badge too, okay? Hey, German Jews didn't have it any easier when we were kids. I'll tell you, I'm great, you know?
Yeah, we gonna work together. As soon as I open up a cereal shop, you fucking leprechaun.
Hey, I didn't call you any names, you fuckface. Don't start that, okay? I'm fooling fucking ear. I tell you to do it. Hey, I'm sorry.
Well,
Okay,
you're all
okay,
mine.
okay,
You're mine.
Whatever.
Come back.
Chinese motherfucker!
We're not too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not too old for this
I'm not
shit.
gonna buy a hemorrhoid cushion.
We're not too old for this shit.
I'm not gonna get corn.
Yeah, I got corn, sir.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a suit.
Hey, what's wrong with wearing a suit?
Shit! Fucking phones, man.
Hey, they fuck you with cell phones. That's what it is. They're fucking you with the cell phones. When you call back, which they know you're gonna do, they charge you for that fucking first minute again at that high rate.
If you're lucky enough to be able to call back, because the 3-hour battery you got only lasts for 20 fucking minutes.
Or what if you're behind a fucking hill and it's going...
Oh, you're going through a
hear
damn
anything.
tunnel or some shit, man? And they keep making it smaller. You know why they make them this small? So you can lose them. 5.
Oh, but
Somebody
you gotta pay
took
for it.
my number
Oh, what happened to
and
you?
called Afghanistan. Afghanistan? I don't know what fucking Afghanistan looked like. And even if I did, I would not talk to that Afghan ass for 3 hours. I won't talk to my daddy for 3 hours.
They fuck you with the cell phones. Hey, you know what happens when you go to a drive-thru? They get you any... Hold on.
Why am I talking?
Hold on. Leo Getz, private investigator.
Private investigator?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Getz, I was wondering if you would be willing to investigate my privates.
Investigate what?
My privates, you stupid shit. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, very funny, Riggs. You're costing me a lot of money here.
Yeah, at least
$3
$3,
answer
yeah.
a fucking caller. Fucking me with the cell phones, now you're fucking me.
You're pretty tough when you're on the phone, aren't you, little fella?
That's right, telephone tough guy. Why am I talking to you on the phone?
Get the fuck out of here. Go home.
What happened to your face? No means no.
Hey, this kid's gonna like me, I can tell.
He'd be the first one.
I fucked you. I fucked you. We fucked you. We fucked you. It's beautiful.
So it's time for our final thoughts. And overall, sir, what is your vote for the Lethal Weapon franchise on a whole, not individual movies?
The Lethal Weapon franchise as a whole is probably my outside of Star Wars is probably my favorite film franchise of all time. And that's saying something because it's not like one of the... I usually like these more like fantastical, like sci-fi or fantasy type things like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and stuff like that. But this one, I put it ahead of so many other franchises. And I love a lot of these. I love Die Hard movies. I love Back to the Future movies. I love the first 2 Jurassic Park movies. You know, I love Bond movies, and I love a lot of different franchise movies. But for some reason, I just connect with this one so much. I'm a huge Mel Gibson fan. So other than Star Wars, this is my favorite film franchise of all time.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what else Mel and Renee have started together outside of Ransom, but when I saw them team up again in Ransom between 3 and 4, because I think Ransom came out in 95, I was like, wow. I mean, these two need to work together. I mean, these two are awesome together in whatever roles that people come up for them with, because and again, Ransom is, again, probably something I have to add to the MWire schedule, but wow. Just the chemistry between the two of them is just awesome. So, yeah. I think that's going to do it for us, so thank you for joining us here on MWire. There's several ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. Join the forums, PredaconEmpire.com/Nexus. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Please do this. You can follow us on Twitter. GCRNMWire is the Twitter name for the show. Mine is TFG1 Mike. What is your Twitter?
Boss K-Dog.
Become a fan on Facebook. Search Geekcast Radio Network and Behind the Voice Actors. Call the voicemail line. Tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this episode of MR and wish you'll join us next time in episode 60 when we'll be reviewing Gone in 60 Seconds. Ha! See what I did there?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. You know it was funny. Shut up.
Oh, God. No, I'm just kidding.
Episode 60, Gone in 60 Seconds. That's funny. Shut up.
Yep, you're big on your numbers.
For now, I am TFG1 Mike with
Optimus Solo from BehindTheVoiceActors.com.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.
In a world, there, I said it, happy